All right, yeah. People send this to me for a while now. It's about that guy Kevin Leonardo. He I can't even say what he did, but he had a very interesting YouTube video, which surprisingly didn't get taken down. I don't even know how he pulled that off, but he definitely pulled it apart. So I'm curious. Apparently, he's a little more sussy than we thought, and I'm curious about it. And he makes TikToks being provocative and weird. It's actually bizarre. So yeah, let's kind of see the context. It's TikTok's newest creep, the untold story of Kevin Leonardo, by I can't pronounce that. Hillam Wonder. I don't know how to pronounce. I'm so sorry, dude. I can't pronounce anybody's name except for my own. So let's go.
You've got mail.
Oh, me.
Hi. I wanted to share some threads I saw on Twitter that caught my attention.
Okay.
They were about some TikTok guy named Kevin Leonardo. He posts kind of controversial educational content.
Educational, yeah, sure.
Seems to get debated a lot.
I'm confident all of you know this, but YouTube actually allows some very interesting content under its education policy.
Yep, they allow nude yoga. That's a real thing. I don't know why, but it's something that they allow.
27 million views.
Sorry for what I'm about to talk about. This is bad.
A few weeks ago, I uploaded a video. In that video, I did what I said I would do in my title. The reaction was absolutely insane.
Apparently, he has some stuff that's more shock value than education. Like it's used to catch people's attention rather than actually teaching you something.
Yeah, and then you use the educational, thing as like an excuse.
Little girls genuinely excite me so much.
I'm really into colonization. Like, I almost wish I was there when my home country was being colonized. I
Okay, thank you so much for the small gut from 12Bs. Thank you. I'm really into colonization. Incredible.
love my cat while I'm slowly him in bed.
Looking into it more,
Okay.
I am generally a bit concerned about his Discord server, though. There's like people having weird conversations
No, I don't think there's nude yoga on TikTok. I meant YouTube. What did I say? TikTok? My bad.
with minors.
What? He has what?
Kevin was made aware, but he kind of brushed it off.
I think it's funny, and I think it makes me feel
What is his thing with minors? What?
Kevin was made aware, but he kind of brushed.
I've clearly said that I don't condone something of any sort, and the NSF channel is for those people who are over 18 have questions about sex. I'm still confused by this tweet. What? I'm so why do you have young people in a Discord where you have an NSFW section? What? Okay, we got to get more into
it's
this.
funny, and I think it makes me feel like really important that like someone's like out there tweeting my name.
I don't know. The whole thing seemed kind of strange. I was wondering if you'd take a look.
I don't like it when people tweet about me. Just leave me alone. I don't want the attention. I'm not even kidding. I don't give a shit about. Just leave me the fuck alone, dude. You know what I mean? Okay.
Goodbye.
TikTok's beloved creep. All right, can't wait. Joe Rope.
If you're like me and billions of others, you most likely by now have heard of a little app known as TikTok. But if
Yep. I've been doing pretty well on there. Not bad, baby. Not bad. Oh, I couldn't get him in time. This tank sucks.
you happen to be one of the remaining people who are unfamiliar with its existence, it's not an issue by any means.
Oh, I just did it to myself.
Riddled with a
Fuck.
never-ending library of colorful content, such as, for example, funny animals, relatable posts, cooking, so on and so forth, provided directly to
Lots of edgy memes. Shit, my For You page is fucking diabolical, brother. I don't know what you're talking about.
the users' feeds by its vast array of creators. TikTok is such a place where one could accidentally scroll for hours if they forgot to moderate themselves carefully.
Yeah, it's almost like an addiction, guys.
However, as many of you may be aware, TikTok is far from a simple app that comes without fault. From the very creators you yourself may
I remember this guy. He sings. That's all I know of him.
have seen in passing, the website has seen its fair share of bad actors who plague the website with endless controversies. From a constant influx of users
Some of those were weird little cows.
who prey upon vulnerable groups of people for their own selfish reasons, scam others for sympathy, or are just blatantly creepy in their behaviors and actions. The directory of infamous figures on TikTok is a continuous problem that only seems to keep growing. And with our character of interest today, we'll find yet another
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, the reality is it's going to be inside of like any online platform is going to have these problems,
footnote of one of TikTok's many controversies. Meet Kevin Leonardo, known by his TikTok user handle, The Coolest Kev. Located on his
Whoa,
TikTok
he's the cool Kevin. All right, man. I'm already starting to warm up to him.
account as well as his channel by the same name, one can find Kevin frequently uploading educational videos regarding personal topics that
Let's just say, when we say educational, can we just go like educational? You know what I mean? They're educational videos.
some may find themselves too uncomfortable to ask the adults in their life, such as their parents, hygiene, self-care, story times, etc.
Yeah.
Alongside this, however, is rage bait, as well as directly suggestive content with the sole purpose of, what I would argue, is shock value, and to get the
Yeah,
rise
it's attention. It's supposed to be attention attention grabbing, like whatever, you know.
Of unsuspecting users with his, in my personal opinion, lackluster humor that falls as both insensitive and
Damn, imagine somebody made a video about me and said I had lackluster humor. I'd fucking cry, brother.
rather uncomfortable, which
Oh,
one
I
could
don't know,
argue
goddamn
is the
thing on.
intended purpose of his humor. And I won't simply be focusing on what some may deem as dark humor. Rather, I have some discussions set in place for some particular instances where the comedy's objective clause becomes a bit questionable. But this is simply the tip of the iceberg. From an unsafe Discord of Kevin's for his community featuring inappropriate channels where minors and adults could converse back and forth.
Hey, Kevin, I got blank by blank. Incredible. How do you, age 13? What the fuck? Listen, I have a Discord. Discord's weird, man. You know, when I had my old Discord, I never moderated it myself. I had other people do it. And I just see how weird it gets in there. So I deleted my old Discord. And like now I have one that's members only. And like, there's just no, that conversation's not allowed ever. It was never allowed. But like, yeah, like I would never encourage those conversations in fucking Discord. Not even between adults. Like, what the fuck? I don't know, dude. It's just a slippery slope. It gets weird. That's just like it's not what I'm about, man. What do you want to do that for? Yeah, the Discord's really chill. Yeah, it's mostly just people chatting in the Discord, like fans that like talk to each other about their cats and stuff. It's fun, you know. Yeah, that's it.
Unchecked on not safe for work topics in non-educational.
Where's the weirdest place you've ever blanked yourself? Don't have those conversations in my Discord. And if somebody does, tell me. I will ban them. I don't want that in my Discord.
Ways, which is what Kevin claims to be his defense
Oh my
regarding
God.
these matters. Kevin's either direct
The way I do nothing and the Discord server continues to be tweeted about negatively every few minutes. And listen, we'll see some of the things. It's quite possible, it being very charitable. You guys know I like to be charitable. It's quite possible that like inappropriate conversations are happening and he's not like using them as an excuse to try to like have take advantage of people, we'll say. This guy's an idiot. That's very possible, right? But like, you need to set that boundary of like, yeah, we're just not going to allow it because something really sussy could come out of it, you know? That's one of the problems. That there's people with like literal massive boundary issues on the internet. It's not setting firm boundaries, you know. But you gotta set those boundaries, boy. You know.
direct or indirect disregard for the safety of minors in said Discord,
Jesus
which with said
Christ.
messages of his own uncovered in his server, raises some serious questions as to how much he can play into the plausible deniability. Shane Dawson levels of comedy regarding his cat, highly insensitive storytime
Ooh, gotta love your cat a little too much sometimes.
videos, which I'm itching to rip apart, as well as 3 documented Twitter threads regarding the environment of the prior mentioned Discord server, his rather dismissive responses to such threads. One response in particular being disturbing in its given context, the contents of his rage bait content, a bizarre roleplay, and so much more that I can't simply squeeze all this into a basic summary. The story of Kevin Leonardo is
I'm ready to do the deep dive, brother.
one that leaves me disappointed in the behavior that's allowed to go unchecked from a creator that seems to believe they can do no wrong under the guise of being an educational channel with a twist of added humor. I will be 100% honest in saying that I believe my video here today will result in some backlash on my end, and I'm more than open to hearing different opinions and takes as long as they are provided down below in a respectful manner. I understand that this creator is beloved by quite a sizable fan base. I intend to not throw blind hatred, rather I wish to share my viewpoints and arguments on a situation that was brought to my attention, yet found hardly anyone discussing. But before we hop in, if you'd allow me to introduce myself for a few seconds, it would mean a lot to me. Hi there, I'm Wonder, your one-stop shop for calm deep dives on some of the internet's most unsavory individuals around, and my god, there are quite a lot of them. I upload a new deep dive on a bi-weekly to tri-weekly basis depending on how in-depth they are, so if you find you enjoy today's video, feel free to drop a like and subscribe down below with the bell notification on so you never miss out on yours truly as well as the unfortunate people who we have to discuss on this channel. Also feel free to let me know in the comments what you did or didn't like about today's video so I can work harder in the future to making this a better viewing experience for you. I'd also like to quickly give thanks to the individuals on screen for shedding light on this situation, providing me with the proper directions needed for bringing this situation together cohesively. I will also state that throughout this video there will be trigger warnings placed for individuals who may need them due to some of the topics being discussed.
Hey, let me just tell you something, brother. I wish I got a trigger warning before I saw that booty hole video.
This is not the only time these warnings
He got a nice asshole though.
will be placed, and they will oftentimes be more descriptive depending on where they're accurately being placed throughout the video. Without further ado, I appreciate you for letting me get that out of the way. Now, let's get right into the story of Kevin Leonardo, TikTok's most controversial creator.
I will say, I doubt that he's TikTok's most controversial creator. Let's be absolutely real here, brother. There's plenty of controversial creators on that fucking website. Do I have my view distance up like all the way? Yeah, I do.
The reaction was absolutely insane. Like, I could never have imagined a video of mine going this viral. I saw the funniest
Get addicted to the virality, dude. Then he starts posting sussy stuff.
reactions on TikTok. I got supportive DMs and comments of people like thanking me for making such like a helpful video, and like I feel like such a cool person.
Well, I guess that's honest. I feel like a cool person. You know what? That's very, I'll say that's very raw and honest. I'm like kind of like his spread butthole. Just be like, yeah, I just feel cool when I make TikToks. It makes me feel fun. Makes me feel, you know, it gives me a sense that people like me. For me.
Wasting no time, I want to present this chapter as direct and concise as possible, so let's do just that. Kevin Leonardo first appeared on TikTok on January 30th, 2020, where he
Yeah, that's where we all started, baby. 2020. A lot of people watching back during the old COVID days. A lot of views to get, brothers.
uploaded his first video involving a harmless photo reel celebrating his mother's birthday.
Oh, that's nice. Okay.
Nothing out of the ordinary by any means. Uploading frequently, roughly throughout 2020 through the later stages of 2021, Kevin could be found telling rather straightforward stories about his life and answering questions pertaining to being a member of the LGBTQ+ community. Over time,
Gay. Literally. And non-offensively. Okay.
becoming a rather well-known figure on TikTok who was sought out by other users of the same community, as his stories acted as a voice for the
It's crazy because I never saw him during 2020, and I was pretty prominent on the old application. Surprised he never caught my attention. You know.
those seeking understanding, relatability, as well as a sense of belonging, which is highly important in this day and age for a very real and sizable demographic of people. I've tried to sift through the mountains of content that can be found on Kevin's TikTok, but for the most
Oh, Jesus Christ. Probably like my TikTok. I post 3 videos a day, brother.
part, as far as I can tell, these earlier uploads failed to stand out as anything but ordinary. Nothing in particular to raise one's eyebrow at. Somewhere within the time frame of 2020 through 2022, Kevin's content began to take a turn into more of a raunchy direction, adding the occasional shock value lines or humor to really grab the attention of an audience and to keep viewers watching.
Little girls genuinely excite me so much.
Damn. Listen, I like to be a little provocative sometimes, you know, and take a silly little joke, but I could never get away with something like that, man. I could never get away with something like that. Get fucking canceled. That's really is a gay privilege right there, brother. Holy fuck.
I love to make out with my cat.
Launching
I could get away with that one because I do it. I'm just kidding. I don't have a cat. It died from making out with it.
his channel, The Coolest Kev, on September 6, 2021, Kevin began to upload, much like his concurrent activity on his TikTok page, life stories regarding childhood struggles and tutorials that, to the passive user, could be found with titles that one
Toys 101 censored. Oh my god, dude. What's hard about using a toy? That, you know what I'm saying? That kind of toy. Like what is it's not difficult to figure out.
may find unusual, given the typical nature of content on the platform. At this point in his career, Kevin was still developing quite a sizable following for himself. However, in terms of public identity, was still flying relatively undetected within his own niche. It wouldn't be long, though, before Kevin found his most well-known claim to fame across numerous platforms, making him an overnight sensation that would result in many heated arguments and debates as to what limits should be allowed to be pushed online. On June 20,
That's how it starts, man. That's why you don't want to try to get a huge surge of attention, okay? Because it's not always good, you know? Sometimes it's the opposite of good. It's bad. Something slow, consistent growth, brothers.
25th, 2023, Kevin would upload to his YouTube channel a video titled Removing Butt Hairs Using Nair Cream,
I saw that one. I did see that one.
a visual guide. In what is praised to be within the comments and across forums such as Reddit a straightforward and informative video, Kevin does exactly as the title describes, using a visual
Yeah, you know, I will say I don't think that he really wanted to educate people on that. This is just a weird thought that I'm having. It's a feeling. I'm an empath. I think he was just trying to make a provocative video for attention and push the boundaries to see what he can get away with. So
guide himself. Kevin, within just a few brief moments of this tutorial, has a direct shot of his derriere placed in front of the camera,
yeah, he did put his big old booty hole up there, brothers.
to which he, as stated, removes hair using Nair cream. It's pretty self-explanatory. Many users were quick to debate if this
It did come off pretty well. I'll give him that. If I ever needed Nair, he proved to me that I would, you know, it could be very beneficial. It worked very well to purge his booty hole of booty hair. That's pretty much it.
this type of content should be allowed online, given that the platform has had strict policies against this type of content, so some argue that it violates community guidelines.
Yeah, well, you know, it was not sexual in nature. I will say that. It's not a sexual in nature. So that's probably, that's how we got away with it, right? It was an educational video. I'm still surprised that they let that kind of stuff on YouTube. I don't really understand it. Like, basically non-sexual nudity, like yoga videos and stuff. Because, like, there's legitimate nude yoga. I'm telling you, bro. It's really weird. Where you might find you the source video. Just look on this channel, Kevin Leonardo, dude.
Another argument that some users presented was that children could inadvertently stumble across this video, and
I mean, that's more of YouTube's problem than it is Kevin Leonardo's problem.
therefore be directly exposed to Kevin. Some even went as far as to start their own petition to have the video removed for good.
I wouldn't be against, but
However, a louder majority of users countered that Kevin
I will say I don't think, like, I can imagine if, like, 13-year-old me came across it, I'd just be like, ew, that's gross, and then I would just not care. Like, I don't think it's gonna burn a child's eyes. I don't think it's appropriate for a kid to see. But I saw Mr. Hands. What's the one where the guy puts the jar in his ass and it breaks? I saw that one as a fucking kid. You know, so Kevin Leonardo's video, comparatively, I don't think it's appropriate, but I don't think it's traumatizing. Okay. The other one, though, that might be traumatizing. I will say that one.
Kevin, despite what may seem shocking at first, had actually not broken any community guidelines and was well within his right to present this as educational content,
good for you,
noting
man.
that the video itself is also age restricted.
Yeah, it's still up. They just age restricted it and demonetized it.
After Kevin's upload had time to circulate across the web, resulting in challenge videos where people would show their unsuspecting friends the contents of his clip for their reaction, creators filming their own reactions, as well as being discussed by the likes of notable internet personalities such as Most Critical, and
Most Critical? I know that guy.
overall consensus had been reached in regards to Kevin's controversial video. It was found that, as mentioned,
fucking
Kevin's
dumb.
video was deemed to be directly informative and educational, and since there was no removal of the content, that no community guideline violations had taken place. Many users brought up that this type of content is actually needed, and I've actually reached out to a few people.
I mean, I don't know if it's needed. You know, maybe. I don't know. Is any content needed? It's fine that it exists, you know?
To get their thoughts and opinions on this type of video, and a lot of people have come back and said that this is heavily needed amongst community members such as the LGBT community who don't have a safe place to seek out this type of educational content. And
I feel like you could... What's the educational content? Putting Nair on your anus? I don't know if that's... Is that needed? I don't know.
that what Kevin was doing was generally beneficial.
There's no smoke and mirrors. There's no censorship here. Within the first 4 seconds, it's the whole chocolate factory on display.
After a few months had passed, criticism towards Kevin had become drowned
You think it's actually really helpful? All right, maybe it's just not for me. You know what? Maybe it's just not for me. God bless.
out by the newfound influx of followers that were now becoming avid watchers of both his channel and TikTok page. To put this influx into perspective, his channel alone rested at a humble 12,000 subscribers at the time of his Nair video 7 months ago. Currently, he rests comfortably at a whopping 368,000 at the time of this recording.
Wow, good for him, man. Should I do a video like that? No, that would be terrible.
With more reasons than ever to push the limits, Kevin's full-fledged descent into
Fucking crazy.
raunchy, eye-catching content that was in reality a gateway to discussions of storytelling and tutorials had finally begun. And the more Kevin posted, the more his followers loved him. One look into Kevin's TikTok page and you'll find numerous comments expressing how his sense of humor and his style of explicit comedy is what adds to him being
You never failed to make my jaw drop, Daddy. No, they didn't say the last part.
as what is often described as a out-of-pocket character. If users find his type of humor to be off-putting or distasteful, and they attempt to critique as such, said users are oftentimes remarked as sensitive and unable to take a joke.
Damn. Epic.
Any angle of criticism
I like guys like this because they're so controversial. They make me seem not controversial by comparison, and I get to escape by it.
towards Kevin is usually met with an explanation that viewers of his find reasonable enough. As it would seem, based upon our overall synopsis of him, Kevin appears to be, on the surface, a merely misunderstood creator, with a desire to
He's not really misunderstood. He's a shock value creator. I think we all know who those people are. You know, we've seen them before.
educate his community on topics that may be uncomfortable to discuss anywhere else. However, as you're expecting, in an effort to paint you a picture regarding the origins of Kevin and his
paint me a butthole picture, please.
online career, I left out some rather obscure blotches that those
Okay.
who view his wide collection of content in passing may not recognize as questionable. Let's waste no time in diving into our second chapter, as we backtrack and take a closer look at his proclaimed educational content, dissecting a series of clips that I am eager to understand as to how such content falls under the guise of informative. With an open mind, let's begin.
A closer look at his booty hole.
When I was a kid, I froze butterflies and I kicked cats into sewers.
Okay.
the hell is wrong with you?
Trigger warnings: DV, SA, CSA, racially insensitive content.
Too many different words.
As a reminder, due to the current online landscape, I have to censor certain controversial names, words, language, etc. There will be on-screen words that assist in understanding what is being said. For example, that fat dog ate all my goldfish will look like this. As for some words,
Okay.
they may not seem as if censoring is needed. However, given how words and videos appear to be scanned, it could cause potential for interference. Believe me, I share the same frustration as the creator as one does as the viewer. Thank you for understanding, and let's proceed.
Okay, let's go, baby.
On June 6, 2023, Kevin Leonardo uploaded a clip to TikTok simply titled, "I haven't been back to Indonesia."
Okay. Is this going to be making fun of food?
Keep in mind that this video could be directly recommended to anyone. Kevin, using what he states is often his sense of humor, describes, for lack of better terms, his very particular desires regarding a very real tragedy that befell the Indonesian people. I must admit,
Was it their food?
aside from
I'm just kidding.
the slight historical factor of this clip, I struggle to find the punchline or the educational value that this clip provides.
I'm really into colonization. Like, I almost wish I was there when my home country was being colonized by, I think, the Dutch. I feel like it would have been so fun to observe, like, the manly pirates. Not, like, for real,
Fucking, bro, it's just stupid, you know?
obviously. I just mean, like, in a fun, like, way, you know? So when people ask me, like, Kevin,
Is this guy saying that he wants to get assaulted by Dutch people? What the fuck is wrong with this guy?
what do you like? Like, what are you into? Just know that, like, the core of everything that I'm attracted to is a dominant, masculine man.
Yeah, that sounds exactly like what he's saying. Yeah, he's just be provocatively telling us his sexual proclivities. I don't really care. Like, that's for TikTok to censor in whatever way they feel like they need to. And frankly, I'm fine with it not being censored. I like pushing the boundaries a little bit and having like a little bit of fun and making some edgy jokes. You know, a kid seeing this isn't going to destroy them. You know, a 13-year-old, they're not going to get destroyed. They're probably not going to understand half of what he's saying. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't care.
He doesn't have to be, like, super macho manly, but just, like, at least more than me. What about you guys? What kind of guys do you like? Let me know in the comments.
Okay.
Okay. Ones that aren't annoying.
Hey, let's try to wrap our heads around this for a moment, if you will. Kevin states he's into colonization and how he wishes he was president.
Yeah, he wants like a Viking or something to come and in him. Yeah, that's what he's saying. I understand what he's saying.
When the Dutch committed horrific crimes against the people of Indonesia, which is quite a statement to make. It's quite literally a tragedy that numerous cultures have suffered through. He then praises the Dutch pirates as if they were some form of Giga Chad hunks out of a movie, which I'd argue is rather detached from the reality of the circumstances that took place. Also, it's just weird to glorify actual pillagers. I don't know why that has to be explained, but here we are. He does clarify.
I mean, I would imagine that he would not be. I think he would probably be against colonization. It's more of just like a silly, stupid, like edgy joke. That's obviously not going to be for everybody. It's going to that's kind of the thing about offensive jokes. They will offend people. But I'd say that one specifically was put out in a decent way. It's like, you know, it's fine. I don't think it was like for the offensive joke. I don't think it was trying to be as offensive as possible. I thought it was just trying to be a little bit shocking. Like, you know,
he doesn't really mean he wishes this fantasy could take place exactly as it happened, rather in a fun way.
Yeah, like in a like a fantasy. Yeah,
Not like for real, obviously. I just mean like in a fun, like, way, you know?
You know, the fun kind of colonization.
I think he's just saying that he has like a CNC kink is what he's saying.
Whatever that looks like. He ultimately wraps
usually you guys consensual fetish kind of stuff.
this all up and clarifies that what he's really trying to get at is the fact that he enjoys a more dominant figure in his life, and that by bringing up the concept of a real-world issue, he's able to make a relation as to how this ties in with his dating preferences. So, as we'll see, Kevin is using what is his standard MO of shock value as a means to later transition to the actual intention of his video, which here is simply to discuss dating preferences off the back of a very horrible tragedy that happened to real human beings. Users can be found in the top comments of this clip joking that, hey, secrets are cool and that diaries are still relevant.
That's true. Secrets are cool. That's funny. Yeah, they are. Keep it to yourself, brother.
Other users who can be found duetting this particular clip of Kevin's, critiquing its contents, can be found with comments on their own video stating that the individual simply can't take a joke. One user in particular who found this clip to be distasteful was a TikTok creator known as Etch-a-Sketch, who sums this up better than I could. Let's take a look.
All right, don't be a nerd, Etch-a-Sketch.
I'm really into colonization.
What? You must have accidentally used the wrong word accidentally.
Like, I almost wish I was there when my home country was being colonized by, I think, the Dutch.
This is so stupid.
So you can, like, help them, right? Right?
Yeah, I'm sure one person would be able to stop everything going on.
I feel like it would have been so fun to observe, like, the manly pirates.
Watch them do what? Wait, this can't be for real.
Not like for real, obviously.
Oh, whew.
I just mean like in a fun, like way, you know?
Okay.
Wait, there's no way you just said that watching Indonesian people, which is where you are from, by the way, that watching them get and then put into slavery is fun.
I think he's saying I think he's saying he wants that to happen to him, right? Like that's not saying he wants to watch other people, but okay.
And oh, wait, there has to be a point to this, right? Like this must be satire.
So when people ask me like, Kevin,
Yes. It's satire. Yeah. Obviously.
what do you like? Like, what are you into? Just know that like the core of everything that I'm attracted to is a dominant, masculine man.
You really just glorified colonization, slavery.
No, he didn't. What are you talking about? No, he didn't. You could dislike the video, but he's not glorifying it. It's very clearly a joke. You could just be like, I think it's distasteful and disrespectful and downplays, you know, past atrocities. That's fine if you want to have that perspective. But he's not glorifying it and saying that it should happen. It's just disconnected from it. So,
As an intro to talk about your preferences? I mean, speaking of preferences, remember this video? Oh, you deleted
what's the video? Oh, okay, this guy's a goober.
preferences? I mean,
Racial
speaking of
preferences
preferences,
are normal. Get over it. Yeah, that's true.
remember this video? Oh, you deleted
Oh, now I understand. This guy just wanted to make this video to cancel him for this stupid joke. Who cares?
Oh no, we'll never know what was said in the video. Just kidding, I have clips. He said stuff like this.
If I fulfill a white man's fantasy of like colonizing my country and like having me be this like super Asian person, which I am, the white man also fulfills my fantasy of like dating a
This guy's a fucking freak. I don't care, man. Clearly, he has a fucking bizarre fetish. God bless you. Live your truth, brother.
super hot manly dude that I see in movies and TV.
Hey,
Okay, I'm not shaming him. I mean, he is saying that he wants a legitimate racist person, I think, to fuck him. But you know what? God bless. Or maybe he just wants the fantasy of a racist person. Good, whatever, man. It's fucking crazy.
I honestly don't understand why he has a platform. He says problematic things all the time, not even just about race. And I get it.
I don't care about any of the things that he said. It doesn't. This is the thing. His jokes don't seem to be, I want people to get colonized. That's wrong. His jokes are just like weird, edgy fantasies that he has. I don't care, right? Like if somebody's trying to say that as like a dog whistle to say that like racism is okay, that's wrong. But this guy is just a weird gay guy. I don't care.
I understand that he just wants
It's cool, you know, like I love attention, I love going viral, and I love like money. Like I will always only post educational videos.
But for sake, educate yourself before you go try to educate other people and say ignorant shit.
After watching both Kevin and Etch-a-Sketch's
Yeah, I think that Ed guy's just kind of like a little too soy for me. I just, you know, do you, man, have your perspective. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm sure people gravitated towards that, but like a little bit pearl clutchy to me personally.
clip, I asked for you to formulate your own thoughts and opinions in regards to these two videos, as your opinions and views may lie differently than mine. Moving on to our next clip, we find a video involving Kevin and a certain interest of his regarding roleplay. I will state a
We just did find that. What?
trigger warning for CSA regarding the following clips. Yet again, we will be seeing Kevin using a real-world tragedy that affected real human lives as a means to segue into more personal and deep discussions. As the name actually has to be censored, yes, this actually has to be censored,
Say Jeffrey Epstein.
to clarify that this specific fantasy of Kevin's is surrounding this man and his island. We will be watching the controversial
Okay.
clip first, followed by a brief snippet of a video uploaded by Kevin to his channel, explaining his intentions behind said
What?
controversial clip. Let's begin that now.
I was on for a long time with the idea of going to Island. Obviously not realistically, but like in a imaginary like role-playing scenario with someone that I love and trust. I used to be drawn by the idea of going to Island and having like him, but like in reality, it's
I don't think everybody on Epstein's island was a young person, so it sounds like he wanted to be like some kind of a sex slave on Epstein's island, but just fantasy-wise, not actually be there. Yeah, I mean, this is in line with his weird pirate thing. Okay.
it's the guy that I'm seeing. Tell me to give him a massage and have me
Maybe just tell him that.
be a younger person and like get like I've always dreamt of that. Like
Oh, a
it's just
younger person? Okay. You fucking weirdo.
just a thing that kind of like gave me an idea when I was watching this
Oh my
documentary. Like,
God.
oh, I would love to go to like a rich person's island and then like be forced to have, like who wouldn't want that?
For me, I would not want that. But okay, you do you, man.
Mentioned this because that was a documentary that I watched in 2019, and I told him like the day after, like,
Bro,
hey,
you watching a nasty documentary and the first thing you're thinking is like, I wish I was that person. Like, that's fucking, you're fucked up. You need a goddamn therapist. I'm into CNC. I'm not gonna lie. I'm into it too. But like, I don't know, man. Just keep it to yourself or something, brother.
can we do a role play with this? And he agreed with no hesitation, and he, pretended to be Mr. And I'd be like a 17-year-old boy from Thailand or something. And,
What the
whole thing.
fuck?
What I find distasteful about this clip is how he states how he'd want to visit the island as a victim. He does clarify not as a predator and not realistically.
That's probably better. I think it would be better if you wanted to visit the island as a victim and not the predator. The predator's worse.
But how the idea of being, quote, a young person, which in this context would be a minor,
Have me be a younger person, and I'd be like a 17-year-old boy.
and being taken advantage of by wealthy individuals would be ideal. Following this, he rhetorically asks, who wouldn't want this?
Like, who wouldn't want that?
Hold on to
Okay.
this line, as it'll be important for a point I'm trying to address. I argue that publicizing this, even if
Okay.
it generally is one's own self-desire, is highly insensitive to a real-life situation. That
Yeah, for sure. Same thing with mukbangs. It's highly insensitive to fucking homeless people and people in starving countries. But like, at the end of the day, it is what it is, you know?
not only took place for the real victims of that notorious place, but for numerous others in everyday reality. Kevin does
Okay.
have a side of his story to share regarding this clip, but aside from that, I can't begin to
Was he like assaulted or something? And
understand what is educational about sharing this information. What is the intended purpose of trivializing real-world tragedies?
that's the problem, is that like, I don't think that's what he's trying to do. I don't think he's trying to trivialize real world tragedies, right? The way that you said it sounds like there's intentionality. Like, that's the goal of the video, is to trivialize this problem. It sounds, and that might be happening, but it's, to me, it's very clear that the goal of this video is to overshare something that is actually part of his life in a provocative way for attention. So you could say, hey, I feel like this trivializes it, but I wouldn't assign the intentionality if he's trying to trivialize these issues, right? Obviously, he's disconnected. He probably wouldn't actually want to be assaulted by a pirate. But again, I don't think his intention is to trivialize.
I can't argue there really is one aside from initiating those initial few seconds to really hook viewers. Perhaps I'm being too black and white with things, but I still want to continue forward with this question. But I digress. Let's watch Kevin's response towards the controversy surrounding this clip and hear its explanation behind its meaning.
If you are familiar with my online lore, you've probably heard
I mean, I imagine that we're going to get into a loop of him saying provocative things and then him making another video to explain those provocative things, and that's all part of the attention pipeline. He says a provocative thing, everybody goes, this is terrible. He explains why he said the provocative thing. He makes more money off of it. I think that's kind of the whole thing.
about me role-playing on island, specifically a masseuse. This is not satire.
Dude, why is there so much lore behind his desire to do this? It's so specific. What the fuck? Keep it to yourself.
This is not a joke, and I want to take the time today to share with you why I did that and why I posted it on the internet. We have to start, of course, in 2005 or 2006, one of those years, in Jakarta, Indonesia, the year that my friend slash neighbor, who was about my age at the time,
Assaulted him, yeah.
7 years old, pressured me into.
Oh, so wait, you were both like 7 years old and you've, okay.
And the same year that I got by a crusty who
What the fuck?
was my other friend's uncle.
Oh, incredible.
The reason why I bring up these two situations with men when I was 6 years old in Indonesia is because I want to point out the fact that I was naive and young and very much powerless. Neither of these situations with my
Okay.
friend
Is it like turning your pain into a pleasure and try to own the situation through this kink kind of a thing? Okay.
or with the crusty was in my control, or was it ever my idea? I was 6 years old. What was I supposed to say? It was wrong, and I don't condone it. I want to reiterate the fact that it was never my idea or my intent to partake in these situations, and I was very much a powerless victim. Now, obviously,
Okay.
this manifested in many different ways in my life when I was growing up, and a lot of victims of actually feel very similarly to me. I'm not sure what this is called exactly, but I don't think that like we should be shamed for that at all, since we're literally.
Well, just to be clear, there's a difference between being shamed for, we'll say, a trauma response versus the way that you're talking about it. Right? Let's just be clear. Like, you know, if this was a private friend he was telling to and they were like, oh, disgusting, you're a loser. Then he'd be like, hey, don't shame the guy because that's kind of his, we'll say, his trauma response. But you're going on the internet oversharing, so it's a little bit different. Okay. Either way, I really don't care very much. Like, I'm not sitting here offended by the comments that he's making. I just think he's kind of weird, but yeah.
not hurting anybody, and we're doing this in like a private consensual setting. Personally, I think it's a healthy thing. So when my partner asked me one day, like, hey Kevin, like, what do you want to try tonight? I said, well, you know, I saw the documentary last night. Can we do a roleplay? Like, can you?
Why would you admit that? I would never admit, yeah, let me do the Jeffrey Epstein roleplay. It's so weird and specific. That's like weird. You're watching this. That's the most fucked up part. It's not the joke. It's like he watched this documentary and then that night he's like, we got to do this. Like that's the weirdest part about it. Okay.
Play, and can I play one of his victims?
Okay.
Victims were mostly girls, if not all. So I was like, well, why don't I just be, you know, a younger boy? I mean, I'm already a younger boy than the man in question. So for a few nights, he took on the role of, and I
how many nights? Was one multiple day role play? What the hell?
Took on the role of a younger Thailand masseuse that got asked to go to the island and give the boss a massage.
Before I say anything,
okay, incredible. I don't even really know what else to say.
I do want to recognize the very real tragedy that Kevin has faced in his life, which is being a victim of CSA. I don't want to take away or criticize something that numerous people have to go through, with the intention of keeping an open mind and hearing.
Hey, pencil me in for the Epstein roleplay at 9, babe. Right?
Kevin's reasoning behind this clip. I can say that I understand that individuals who have faced such actions in their life will indeed process things in a different way, and the comments down below also share the same sentiment. And yes, certain criteria of roleplay can often be used as a coping mechanism. I don't by any means wish to diminish that. One may argue once again that this, yes, is a personal idea of Kevin's. And that is an argument I won't deny one is allowed to have, but the issue lies in the fact that the island scandal affected real lives and real children. I must reiterate that this, through my eyes, is trivializing real victims.
Yeah, probably, sure. Just like it kind of trivializes real victims when you make a 9/11 joke, you know what I mean?
Kevin himself was able to explain the intent behind the initial clip and clarify that his purpose was to speak upon a traumatic.
Here's the thing. When I look at this, here's how I operate. I operate with like how much of this is intentionally trying to be disrespectful. And it sounds like he's not intentionally trying to be disrespectful, so I don't care. Like that's really what it boils down to. You know, when you make jokes or commentary about something and you're not trying to be disrespectful, I'll be more charitable to it. Like I make edgy jokes all the time. You know, so for me, it's like I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I want people to laugh about it. So like I don't see any malicious intent here, so it's like whatever to me.
Issue he faced in his own life. I posed the question though, what prevented him from doing this in the first place without the use of real victims as a transition into a more digestible story? I would argue nothing.
I don't know, because it was a hot topic probably, and he wanted the attention because he likes attention probably.
As much as I would favor a further discussion, we have a few more
and you can criticize that, obviously.
Clips to get through involving his humor and around his cat, Tobias. It's a running joke on Kevin.
Tobias? What the fuck? Tobias Funke?
His TikTok page that he's in a non-intimate relationship with his cat. Though as we will see in a response Kevin made to a Twitter thread regarding his behavior, one we will discuss shortly, Kevin makes a claim that he has never joked about doing anything inappropriate with his cat.
I've never joked about my cat. I actually love Tobias so much. Like I've invested so much money and so much love into this cat. I love to make out with my cat while I'm slowly touching and caressing him in bed.
Okay.
Never joked about my cat.
One could argue by the tiniest technicality
Maybe the cat liked it.
of diction.
I'm assuming that he's sensationalizing just cuddling with his cat and kissing him. Because people do that. People cuddle with their pets and they kiss them on like the fucking the head and stuff. So again, that would be in line with his content of just being a weirdo that like phrases things in ways that are sensational.
That this would be the case, but I'll leave that for you to decide. Now, I'm going to play a series of compiled clips together rather than dissecting them one at a time, after which we will briefly discuss the contents before discussing one particular clip that I feel is in dire need of further scrutiny. Let's begin.
Okay.
I to my cat once a day outside because I feel like it's good for me to be stimulated in his environment. Now, my cat Tobias to me at night because he loves to be touched and caressed.
I'm assuming he's just talking about how he likes to go out to his cat and he's using more provocative language is probably what he's doing. Okay.
In bed, right next to me, before and after I with myself. I don't to my cat outside all the time because I feel like it's kind of annoying to get to his catio. This is the door to get inside his catio, and as you can see, it's a little bit like jammed and like low-key sticky. But while we're here, let me give you a tour of Tobias's room. This is
a fucking mess, bro. This is like a legitimate mess.
Tobias's catio that I try to in. once a day at the very least. He does love the sunlight. We have a lot of these cat trees and cat houses. I love to make out with my cat while I'm slowly touching and caressing him in bed before and after I put myself in front of him. Here's me last night kissing my sweet, sweet
you got. I mean, like if you censor it, you know, I can't make too much of a commentary on it. I would need to see it. You know, was it like disgusting, or did you just censor it just in case? You know what I mean?
Genuinely, I've never felt so close emotionally and physically to anyone in my life. Like me and Tobias are basically like dating, and
This sounds like very relatable for women, you know,
like in on
and gay people, right? They're similar.
way, of course.
That's not a criticism. Feminine people. For cats, I feel like men like dogs. I feel like if a man would be honest with himself and he had like a dog he loved, he would say the same thing. Because men are weird when it comes to dogs. You know, they're like, "Oh, I'll get a dog, but you kids better take care of it." And then they basically, the dog comes in there and then they take care of the dog and they love the dog more than their own kids, right?
Of course, both of us love physical touch. Like if Tobias took like a love language test, physical touch would be like up there for him and for me too. Hugging cats is one
Well, don't they take on their owner's traits?
sure way to get him to fall asleep.
That's so
Tobias
stupid.
absolutely loves to be touched and caressed and just coaxed to bed. Technically, he loves my fingers all day, every single day, 24/7, but like especially at night. Here's me
Okay.
hugging my I took this photo last night. Technically, the phrase is like I'm hugging my body so that like it curves. As you can see, Tobias loves my crotch region. That's how he like relaxes. That's how he falls asleep. And so like if you just sit down on the floor like cross-legged, he will like come up to you and just like fall asleep on your lap.
Good to see you here the next day. These things take a little while to film. As we can see, Kevin is enacting his usual MO of raunchy comedy and dialogue, as well as shock value as a means to pull
Yeah, it just sounds like he loves his cat a lot and he hangs out with his cat, and it doesn't really seem like that big of a deal.
viewers in and keep them watching. This is clear. In the first clip, he speaks inappropriately about his cat and uses a very explicit choice of words that have a double meaning, so he can simply show off his cat's room. In the second clip, he talks about how he makes out with his cat, which I don't understand the double meaning of the word there. And the third clip, he discusses—
He probably just, I don't think it's a double meaning. I think he just kisses his cat. So he's like, I make out with my cat. People kiss their animals. Like, that doesn't mean that he's like sticking his tongue in the cat's mouth and going like, right?
how to perform a certain action, which is oftentimes associated with a word that has
Why would you, what? A lot of women's first experiences with a dog? I think I'm going to time you out, brother. I think I have to put that in timeout for 5 minutes. I don't think that's true, and I find that offensive, okay?
appropriate connotations, and
Don't
how
ever say
that
that.
word is the best way to get his cat to fall asleep at night, emphasizing how his cat just loves to rest around his lower area. In reality, Kevin's just saying how he curls around his cat to get him to fall asleep. After sharing these clips, one can surely argue that this is just a joke, and though I don't personally find it funny, I don't believe that Kevin is doing anything nefarious to his cat. But the counter argument to be made is just because something is intended to be a joke doesn't mean that it doesn't just result in being blatantly weird and borderline disturbing. Perhaps others may not agree and might find that I'm scrutinizing a little too harshly here, and that's
Probably a little bit, but at least you acknowledge that it's probably nothing big, so it's whatever.
entirely fine, as those people are entitled to their own opinion. If you find that perhaps you're still on the fence regarding your opinion, I'd like to share with you one final clip regarding his cat, Tobias. When I
Okay.
first looked around Kevin's TikTok page in hopes of better understanding who I was reading into, I noticed a clip titled, "Officially a Domestic Survivor,"
Okay, Kevin. Incredible.
followed by the hashtag domestic survivor. Keeping an open mind, I watched the entirety, wondering if this involved a real-world story Kevin had been through. However, let's just take a look.
Guess who's officially a victim of domestic and
Is this cat hit him or something?
domestic me? Look at my nose. So this morning, my boyfriend and I were obviously each other and correcting each other as we all do, and things got a little bit too passionate. I might have said something a little bit too arousing. He might have gotten too excited, and he swiped at my face.
Okay, I'm assuming that this boyfriend is the cat in this scenario, and it's insensitive to people that are going through domestic or what have gone through or going through domestic abuse, right? Sure.
His nails hadn't been cut in months, and so his nails were obviously very sharp, and I genuinely thought he was going to hit my eyes, and so I closed my eyes. In that split second, I was like this, and next thing I knew, when I opened my eyes, my nose was bleeding. And so I put on a band-aid, and then I talked to my boyfriend, and I was like, hey, like, what's going on? Like, this can't happen again. And he honestly did not say much, but I forgive him nonetheless. I won't forget this, but I am a very forgiving person, and so like I will forgive, and I will try to forget, but I probably won't forget because it literally hurts. And now I have a stupid, ugly scar on my nose. I've never been scratched in the face before. Usually
Well, I mean, the scar will probably go away.
cat scratches like my hands or like my body, but like this morning he was on the floor. Completely my fault. I do not blame him at all. He's just so cute and so silly. Like, even if this was his fault, I wouldn't be upset. So I will forgive him, but I will not forget this moment because it's kind of funny that Tobias just swiped my face.
All right. Yeah, it doesn't really. Again, if you're somebody that's going through that or gone through that, you might be offended by it, but it just sounds like he's being stupid. Yeah.
Has your cat ever scratched your face? Let me know in the comments.
Guess who's officially a victim? Because it's kind of funny.
Yes, I should have known. This is simply revealed to be a skit about how his cat Tobias scratched his nose.
Yeah. Exactly.
How educational, Kevin, how hilarious.
It sounds like so far this video could have been like, yeah, I'm not a big fan of this guy's jokes. That's pretty much it.
I don't know what I was expecting when I saw that title and then I watched the video and I was like, okay, perhaps, you know, this is a real genuine story. Nope,
I don't think you ever thought that. If you did, you're a silly little goose. There's no way that was ever a genuine story. That was always just like a stupid joke, okay?
It's SNL, baby. It's the most lackluster joke known to man. It's like, wow, that's so funny. What makes this clip worse, in my opinion, are the comments.
This is not funny joke, bro. I wasn't joking. I got scratched in the face. I'm not trying to be funny. That's kind of funny. I would just not respond, but okay.
When the occasional user states how DV isn't something to joke about, Kevin responds by doubling down on said joke by stating that there isn't one to begin with. And he's defended for this.
It is funny. I mean, that is the way you would respond from a joke perspective.
Apparently, this is simply a laughing matter, and those who find issue with a very
okay, so even if this is just a joke, it's not funny. My mother suffered a case of DV and was a witness for it. Okay, yeah, that's sad. You know, it's okay for you to be offended by the joke. I don't particularly care for the DV one. You know what I mean? I don't care about Jeffrey Epstein's victims, but I do care about this. No, I don't particularly care for this one. But it's like, okay, you know what I mean? It's like, it is what it is. I don't think it's like, just don't watch it. I don't think that, again, I don't think he's trying to be disrespectful. He's not saying DV survivors are bad people and they should have fought harder. He's not saying that. That would be horrific. He's just being an insensitive, like, little asshole. And so to me, it's like, okay, you know?
A real-world everyday problem being the butt of a poorly delivered punchline that is circulating within the literal hashtag
get it? Punchline?
DV survivors. A hashtag I'd imagine is used for...
Oh, he probably shouldn't have put the hashtag on there. If he did that, that's what I would say is legitimate criticism. Like, don't do that.
Those who wish to
that's
seek out
taking it too far, in my opinion.
Stories of survival that they themselves can relate with, those people are deemed too sensitive.
Yeah, that would be my biggest criticism. Like, don't put that hashtag in there. Like, that's pushing it a little too far. Putting it in there, it's just pushing it a little bit too far. So, because like he said, people that are looking for those types of content, we could come across that. Then again, we could have a whole conversation about how I think it's inappropriate to sit down and consume domestic violence content all day and all night, because I think that's going to warp your brain and potentially give you secondhand trauma and fuck you up mentally. So, lots of conversations that we could have.
You're the problem. There are numerous users and creators online who get so-called cancelled for less. Yet this blatant jab at DV is accepted. I'd argue solely due to the fact that
I don't think it's a jab. The jab implies that he's trying to like mock people with domestic violence issues. I don't think so. You might feel like it is a mocking statement, but I don't think that his intention is to mock.
Kevin is deemed to be a out-of-pocket guy. I almost forgot that
he just seems like out of touch.
He also brings up again that his cat is his boyfriend. So to firmly stand behind the argument that his humor never involves essaying his cat, I'd argue that's a pretty weak stance. In my
I don't care. Doesn't really seem like that big of a deal. Whether you're
opinion, and this is just my opinion, Kevin is feigning ignorance for the sole purpose of maintaining his character and viewership. And if that requires real issues to be brought into the fold for his comedy sketches, or for a way for him to transition into his storytime clips, with oftentimes no real intention for discussion aside from the initial shock value, then so be it, I guess. It doesn't mean I have to like it, but it absolutely means I have a right to critique it. All of what you have watched up to this point can be argued as a matter of perspective and opinion. I want to state that the following sections and
so far, not so bad. Is there going to be stuff that's going to really get us to cry?
Chapters will pertain to more definitive examples of Kevin's inexcusable behavior. This next clip of Kevin's takes all of the elements you'd find in the ones we just watched. Shock value, eye-catching title, and using yet again...
maybe Kevin Leonardo does something that's really bad and we're just building there.
Real-world issues as a means for transitional storytelling. This one clip in particular, however, is where I firmly draw the line. On January 29th, 2024, Kevin uploaded to his channel a video titled, "Little Girls Make Me So Happy."
Okay. Okay, let's see what we got here, Kevin. How are you pushing the fucking bar here? It's funny because it just seems like that's just like it's so attention grabbing. It's really just it doesn't speak very well or good to him or his content. It sounds more like he's desperate at this point. it's just desperate for attention because nobody really cares about what you have to say outside of you being like super provocative.
Yeah, you're viewing it all wrong. That's simply a double meaning of the word, because of course it is. Before I say anything, I want you to watch some of this video, and then I want to see if what I discuss afterwards lines up from what you took away from this.
Little girls genuinely excite me so much.
Okay, almost he's gay, so I doubt that's probably not true.
And I can't tell you like how happy that I get when I see and meet little girls in public. So yesterday I got to meet so many of my younger female fans at the ice skating rink in Pasadena.
Uncensored minor? What? What does that really matter? I'm assuming he's not doing anything to them. I don't think you needed to censor that, but I think that's okay, just in case, I guess.
Genuinely, like whenever I see groups of little girls like come up to me, I have this feeling in my heart.
He's
like
so
it makes me
fucking
like
dumb.
can't wait to have daughters. It's like a surreal feeling because like I guess I grew up always thinking that I wouldn't like ever be good enough for the world or for like my family or for like my partner or whatever.
Okay.
I've always had this insecurity of like not feeling good enough. It literally changes my life and the way that I see myself. So like I genuinely want to thank anyone that like said hi to me. It's very validating for me. It means that I'm doing something right with my content and just like in general. I went skating with my non-biological sister, right? And this literal 8-year-old girl, like this short, pops up out of nowhere like this
This short? What the fuck is that what it look like?
pro skater, and we were both singing Karma by Taylor Swift. She decides to linger with me and my sister.
Why the fuck is your 8-year-old like enjoying his content? What the fuck?
And she just gave us free skating lessons. That like warmed my heart so much. And
Yeah, it sounds like this is clickbait, and what he's saying, he's called pedo jacking. And then it's really a story about how when he grew up, he struggled with his identity and not being able to have kids, but now it makes him excited to have a kid. Maybe he'll adopt a girl or something. Like, okay, whatever. It's not that. I don't really care. It seems like a fine to me.
And I wanted to meet her parents, but I didn't get to meet her parents. But everyone else that like went there, it was like a poppin' day apparently, because so many of my followers.
I mean, if it's like if I don't know the specifics, but if he couldn't meet the parents, maybe the parents like let somebody else chaperone their kids for the day. Like, hey, we're gonna like it's like, oh, hey, me and my wife are gonna take our daughter to ice skating today. Any other kids in the class, like other like the parents, like, hey, does your kid want to come? Oh, sure, okay, well, we'll take him for a couple hours. I would assume that, but.
Or like people that knew me were there, and I just felt so special and so like loved. And
Let's point out everything wrong with this if it wasn't already obvious. It is disgusting.
It's weird that they would like his content at their age, but that's pretty much it. Okay.
In my opinion, that Kevin is using a pedophile joke as an introductory to speak as to how much he loves having an audience that looks up to him.
Yes, that's exactly what he's doing. Yeah.
And how some of those who look up to him are children. For obvious reasons, I kept the image blurred throughout the clip, but Kevin talks about...
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you were just doing that because like you didn't know if he got their consent for the parents, which is fair to do. But just to be clear, if anybody like watched that and thought there was nothing like malicious going on, though, very clearly to me, but
how he met a little girl who taught him to ice skate, and he is grateful for this experience.
Okay, that was probably a very formative moment for that little girl too. Like, oh, can you teach me to ice skate? She probably felt really good about herself for being able to teach somebody something. So
keeping the photo of said child uncensored in this video.
Whatever.
He's using a real-world issue, that being predatory.
I don't think that that's exposing that kid to some kind of harm. You could say that the joke's inappropriate, but it sounds like he just met with a fan and then made like an inappropriate joke in his video. It's fine to criticize that. I'm just saying I don't think the kid's at risk.
Behavior as the shock value introduction into a video that has an image of a real child that he met and discusses how grateful he is to have fans, including young ones. I really do wonder if the mother of this child knew that their daughter would be featured in a video that starts off with a joke about predatory behavior.
Yeah, that's probably the best criticism. Yeah, sure.
Editor's note. Well, hello, it's me, Mr. Immersion Breaker here.
What the fuck is this?
I needed to add a quick editor's note, but I am neither home nor currently in possession of my camera, so if you'd allow me to briefly take over for Mr. Somebody Doesn't Double Check Their Suitcase, I'd be ever so thankful. There were a few more key notes that I failed to discuss that really caught my eyes and ears with this clip. The first being that this clip not only contains an image of an uncensored minor, both in the video and on the thumbnail, that being the little girl Kevin met, more on that in a moment, but it contains a few compiled clips of numerous other minors that Kevin met who were revealed to be fans of his. Aside from their faces being left uncensored on a not safe for work creator's channel, did Kevin get permission from these minors' parents to post their daughters online? I'd argue if not, then that's a pretty big no-no.
Yeah, if not, then that is like an issue. That's how my understanding is how just Pearly Things got got her channel taken, demonetized. So sure, that's a criticism. Yeah.
Especially given Kevin's style of content and humor. It takes 2 clicks and voila, I can become more acquainted with Kevin, his body, and not safe for work sense of humor than I'd ever want to be in one lifetime. So yeah, that's a bit of a red flag in my book. It's pretty reckless, which I find ironic because Kevin states in this video how he wants to be a father and have daughters, despite knowing that there are creepy people in this world who would want to harm them.
It makes
Yeah, just to be clear, like, you obviously should get like the consent of parents and whatnot, but I don't think that that's going to put these kids at risk because they were in his YouTube video. Just to be clear, but okay.
me like can't wait to have daughters. Like I'll definitely be super anxious having a daughter because I know that there are so many like men that like would want to hurt them.
Yet here he is providing their faces to the world for any stranger online to come across.
Yeah, I don't. So just to be clear, I don't think that like they're. First of all, I don't know if any. Okay, come across incredible. I don't think. I don't think the existence of that picture is going to cause some kind of harm to happen. Yeah, what kind of stupid rules is that for YouTube to set? No, they have like a standard that you can't have minors without the parents' consent on your YouTube video. I think that's a pretty good standard for them to set. So if he got in trouble for that, like that's totally fine if he didn't get the explicit consent of the parent, right? Because the parent was complaining when Pearl did that like on the street bullshit interview, and that's how that whole thing apparently happened. But yeah, I don't think that like the existence of a picture online is going to cause a kid to explode. Like we see cute kid TikToks all the time on the internet. Nobody's like, generally speaking, nobody has a meltdown about it. Like it's like I like seeing pictures of cute kids on the internet. My wife does too. Like we send them to each other because we want to have kids. They're not going to be cute because they're going to have my seed in them, my genetics. But at least they won't get molested. You know, I don't really think it's a huge deal though.
That's arguably not very safe at all. What's frustrating here is that with context, the video itself has a sentimental value, but that sentiment is washed out by the albeit very quick shock value in comparison to his other videos, but shock value nonetheless, as well as the lack of censoring minors. And yes, I'd strongly argue that this is clearly intended as shock value due to the fact that almost all his uploads in his recent history have similar explicit titles. You can't convince me that when you have video tutorials such as how to minors, a guitar tutorial.
Blanking, does it say fingering minor? What the fuck is that?
That you honestly don't know what you're doing. It's clear as day, in my eyes at least, that this is intended to be a predatory themed title where the content
well, it's intended to be like a joke, but okay.
So the video features his real-life minor audience, a title that is paired with a thumbnail featuring a literal child who is left uncensored. Which brings me back to the most concerning part of this entire clip. When Kevin talks about the minor featured in his thumbnail, he talks about how this was not a fan of his and was just some random girl he met while ice skating.
Actually, yesterday there was like a special little girl that like
Okay. So I'm assuming he's saying a girl with like some kind of disability.
absolutely just captured my heart. This girl didn't know me before, like from social media. She was literally like 9 years old or like 8.
He talks about how great the experience was, so on and so forth. But what raised my eyebrow was when Kevin mentioned how he wanted to meet this girl's parents, but how he was unable to do so.
And I wanted to meet her parents, or like we mentioned like me meeting their parents because I was like, I wanted to tell them like, oh my gosh, your daughter is amazing. They're literally like these pro skaters. Like they were so good. But I didn't get to meet her parents.
Now, wait a sec.
Yeah, that makes sense. So here's what I'm hearing. I heard special girl. I heard a girl with like an intellectual or developmental disability, and the kids' parents might not have been around because they might live in a group home setting, or if they're professional skaters, they might have somebody like a chaperone to watch after their kids. It can be additionally stressful. Like, maybe I'm wrong, but it's like when you say a special kid, usually you're saying that they're like, you know, they have like a disability. So it would make sense that their parent wouldn't be around. Just to be clear, that doesn't mean that you probably still shouldn't record and post them on the internet necessarily without somebody's consent. Maybe the chaperone. So at worst, like maybe some of what he's done is like irresponsible, but I don't think it's something that's like super dangerous that he's putting in harm's way. So yeah,
I don't mean this as an accusation.
I just mute. What the hell? I just mute everything. Sorry.
Like they were so good.
What the hell? I can't hear anything.
But I didn't get to meet her parents.
Oh, sorry.
Now, wait a sec.
That might have just been on my end.
Here. I don't mean this as an accusation, rather I ask this out of genuine curiosity and concern. If Kevin didn't meet this minor's parents, wouldn't that mean he used a photo of this real child on his thumbnail, paired her alongside, in my eyes, a predatory title on his Not Safe for Work channel, and did...
I don't think it's a predatory title. I think it's a title, like it's supposed to be a shocking, provocative title. To me, it would be predatory if he actually wanted to do the thing.
So without their permission? Yeah, that totally doesn't seem alarming or weird.
It's weird. Yeah, alarming? I don't think so. Like, what's the alarm that you feel like it's going to happen? Like, I think it's okay to call things out that you feel are inappropriate, but like, I don't know what the alarm is. I think like, hey, you should make sure to get like explicit consent from like parents to post pictures of people that are like under 18 on the internet, for sure. I agree with that, but I don't think it's alarming. I think Kevin at worst is an idiot.
I hope that even if you disagree with me on the earlier clips we reviewed, that we can agree that this is just flat out reckless and, quite frankly, in my opinion, inappropriate behavior on behalf of Kevin. I just don't know, man. It just seems really screwed up to me.
Yeah, so like inappropriate, sure. Then you say he's really screwed up. I think it's a little over the line. I don't think it's really screwed up, you know?
Once more, in my personal opinion, I find this video to not only be extremely distasteful, but truthfully, I find this to just be blatantly gross. You don't at any capacity need this type of humor when speaking about or towards young audience members, especially children. It's
I mean, that's, yeah, I guess.
beyond uncalled for. And per the comment section, as you could expect, when someone says how this theme is inappropriate, someone is quick to tell that user to both shut up and to do something with their life.
Was here for the raunchy clickbait titles, but you crossed a very dangerous line with this one. Joking about or using CSA in a jokey way is not okay. Well, he seems to do that all the time. I don't think it's dangerous. You can think something's inappropriate without having to morally load it. I don't really see the danger here, but okay.
Another comment sharing the same sentiment reads as, Kevin, you low-key fell off. I know for a fact you can make good videos without clickbaity titles.
Probably not. That's his entire content base, no?
To which Kevin responded in a manner similar to his DV video, stating, wait, they do make me happy though. I'm confused. This title wasn't supposed to be clickbaity or weird. Kevin,
he's so fucking stupid.
As bluntly as I can put this, in my strongest opinion, you are full of you are a victim of CSA. You are aware of the type of implications this humor entails.
Okay, yeah, sure.
We know this because he made a direct reference to the JE Island, and he's also just a grown adult. Time after time, you are found to be making light of real-world issues for the sake of growing your channel and attracting new viewers. The intention here, in my opinion, is clear. Posing ignorance and
yeah, to make money and become popular and be provocative. I don't really think it's that big of a deal, personally. I don't, like, it doesn't seem like content that I would particularly enjoy, but I don't care. It doesn't really matter. I don't see any, like, legitimate harm in anything he's really done. So
my eyes is inadvertently confirming you are well aware of exactly what you're doing. I feel like I'm explaining that grass is green here. As much as I want to talk upon my personal thoughts surrounding these clips, particularly the one featuring a real minor, as that was just really disturbing, there are simply just
why was it disturbing to you? I don't understand the disturbing part. I'd be like, hey, I think it was inappropriate. Why is it? What's disturbing about it? Like, I don't understand.
Information we still need to get through. So, wasting no time, let's dive right into the next half of this chapter and discuss the initial viral Twitter thread that pointed out Kevin's.
It's like those instances where somebody has like a reasonable criticism and then they sensationalize the criticism. It's like, I don't think it needs to be sensationalized. You know, I feel like some of it's a little like, but okay.
It's questionable track record in the first place, as well as Kevin's sexual education Discord, which is, in its current state, an unchecked server with mountains of inappropriate exchanges between both adults and minors, with an unsafe lack of moderation for the ever-growing list of minors present within the server.
All right, let's see that. Threading the needle. Do we know if he was honest about the trauma? I mean, maybe he's lying about that as like an excuse. That would be interesting. That would be definitely like a reasonable criticism if it wasn't real.
I think it's funny, and I think it makes me feel like really important that like someone's like out there tweeting my name. When influencers need a break from like online hate, like I don't relate. Like this makes me want to keep going.
On August 24th, 2020.
That's so weird.
User
That's weird. I fucking like who enjoys criticism. I just don't even know if I believe that.
At Minty Badword posted a thread to Twitter discussing Kevin Leonardo's Discord server and their experience.
Beware, so y'all might want to be careful of the creator named Kevin Leonardo. He's most notable for his near head removal video, for the blank video. I joined the server based on the YouTube content, and it was going to be an adult space only for blank individuals to share space and educate. Okay. Sorry, I just wanted to read that a little. Thank you so much for the $5 from Yeehaw White Claw. Papa, George had Mike on his podcast, and it got messy. He accused Bobby Lee of SA and impulsive forcing him to hide it. Mike didn't deny it. Interesting. Is there a video you can send to me? What are you referencing?
Experiences within. Menti spoke on how they had joined Kevin's Discord under the assumption it was an adult-only LGBTQ plus space who are sharing and educating.
So I would hope if it's adult only that they're doing something to, you know, at the very least banning anybody who says that they're a minor, but you really should be trying to check IDs or something. If you're having like that kind of conversation in there, you know what I mean?
Quick to find that the server housed over 4,000 members and that the majority of these users were minors.
How do they know that the majority of them are minors? Found it out to be opposite. He has an entire server of over 4K people, when he considers minors whom are as young as 13. Where does it say the majority are minors? This is concerning, considering literally has a fantasy about being a victim. What do they talk about in the, okay, I need to see a little more.
Noting in their thread, quote, this is concerning, considering he literally has a fantasy about being an island victim.
Sure, that doesn't really matter, as long as he doesn't talk about that stuff in the Discord, which he might talk about, but that would be a problem.
Menti published a series of screenshots taken from the server. Following in chronological order of their thread,
Rules, welcome, introduction.
We have an image showing some of Kevin's Discord channels. We also have an image.
Yeah, NSFW questions. Okay, that's like on the line. That's not necessarily a conversation, but the questions might still be inappropriate. No blank NSFW content for any channel. We talk about blank and blank education because that's the nature of Kevin's content, but we cannot blank minors or send a blank or anything like that. If you want to have explicit sexual discussions, talk on the 18+ channel. Yeah, you shouldn't really have an 18+ channel. Okay.
Regarding some of his rules. It's highly important to make note of Kevin's.
What does he do? Well, first of all, you really shouldn't have. I don't think that you should have like a Discord that has an NSFW channels in it with access to young people, even if you don't let them in there. But also, like, what are you doing to ensure that they're not going in there? Because that could be a huge problem.
No, not safe for work rule, his 13+ rule, and his no inappropriately messaging. Kevin.
People younger than 13 will be banned. Reported to Discord. Well, that's Discord's literal rule. There are minors in the server, and they need to be protected. If you want to blank your shot with Kevin, DM him on Instagram, preferably blank men. I would probably say masculine men. Okay.
Rule. Minty goes on to state how they found that minors have free roaming access to not safe for work channels, and that said minors are having not safe for work discussions, and quote,
minors are not only in the server, they have free roaming access to NSFW channels and can interact with adults who are even saying NSFW things and acting if it's a hookup site. I've reported the server before, but there are a few things you can find if you dare venture. Okay.
Acting as if it's a hookup site. Here we have a user who, in their introductions, claims to be, quote, currently starting high school.
Pronouns, any pronouns except for she, blah, 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 blah. Oh my god, that was already annoying enough. Okay.
And that they're single, as well as their DMs are open.
They said that they're single as a Pringle. Okay, get it right.
So to hit them up. What follows is proof of a minor who was freely able to speak in the Not Safe for Work channel, leading credence to a lack of moderation.
Yeah, that's definitely a problem. He needs to do something about that. That's definitely problematic, I would say. I don't. It doesn't mean that he's condoning these kids getting hurt, but I think it puts them like too much in potential like harm's way. Absolutely.
After their initial posting, Minty updated a few more inquiries to their thread regarding their findings by proving that Kevin was aware of their thread and that he appeared to be making light of the situation. This is backed by a screenshot from his server where Kevin is posting a photo of the thread stating, "Guys, we're controversial." Typically, this isn't the response someone gives when someone accuses one of running an unsafe Discord with examples. Furthering their update, Minty pointed out that Kevin's mod, who we'll refer to as their username Meta as it's already been published, is 14 years old and was, quote, handpicked by Kevin.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Listen, if you have an NSFW Discord, or a Discord with NSFW, you really shouldn't have a child as the moderator, because kids think that they're adults, right? That they're like, oh, I'm mature enough, so that I could imagine them not enforcing the rules correctly. You should definitely have adults as your moderator. And if it's a fucking Minecraft Discord, I don't care. But yeah, if you have any NSFW channels, you shouldn't have that in there. Update, the mod Kevin server is 14 years old and it was handpicked by Kevin, par with the minor's own words. I don't know what handpicked mean. It sounds like he's trying to like load that with a lot of sexual meaning. You know, if there's evidence of grooming, you know, let me hear that. But like, what does handpicked mean? You know, I handpicked I don't have any mods on my Discord because it's very small, but like I handpicked Barbecue Menchie as a mod for the YouTube chat. You know what I mean? Like, what does it mean? I picked them. I picked them. That's what handpicked mean. I picked them. It doesn't necessarily mean anything bad is going on. But definitely inappropriate. Definitely a problem.
If we look at Meta's description,
I just need to see more if you want to imply like some kind of insidious, malicious intent.
In the introduction channel, we will see Meta stating that they are 14 and that they once took Kevin's username for
pronouns he, him. Fact, I took Kevin's username TikTok.
16 hours, implying that Kevin and this moderator perhaps are close.
Not really. He took the username for maybe. Okay, I don't care. Wait, what?
And that
I took Kevin's username TikTok for about 16 hours. That doesn't imply that they're close at all. That implies that he stole Kevin's username somehow. I don't think that implies that they're close, but okay.
They once took Kevin's username for 16 hours.
On TikTok, okay.
Implying that Kevin and this moderator perhaps are close. And
I don't think that's okay.
And in a conversation between Meta and another user, we can see this user asking about becoming a moderator themselves, to which Meta responds that Kevin decides mods. They also go on to say that the other user...
Which means that if Kevin explicitly is deciding mods, then it takes away some of that intentionality of being handpicked, right? Because if it was like somebody else typically chooses mods, but Kevin's like, I really like this 14-year-old boy, I'm going to make a mod, then maybe you have something, but it just sounds like Kevin picks the mods, and it's not really all that... you know, loaded or okay, but okay.
Most likely,
definitely still inappropriate in different ways, but I just feel like we're trying to pile on the narrative a little bit.
They wouldn't be able to become a moderator as they have only been in the server for 1 day, have very little messages, and that Kevin's DMs are currently off. Further cementing Meta's confirmation.
That's a good thing that his DMs are off. Actually, that actually shows a lot to discount the narrative that he's a predator.
1 day, have
He probably wouldn't say yes since you've only had for 1 day and you have 6 messages and his DMs are off. That's actually probably a good thing that his DMs are off. That means that he's not he's not inviting constant conversation from anybody and everybody. So that actually looks good for him when it comes to like this conversation.
Very little messages, and that Kevin's DMs are currently off. Further cementing Meta's confirmation of age is another on-screen conversation directly from the server between Meta and the same user. They state how they are in fact a minor, to which
Kevin blank in our mind. I'm a minor. I am too. I don't know what that. So it's too censored for me to understand what he's saying.
Meta replies by saying they are a minor as well. The same day, only a few hours after Minty's post, Kevin himself retweeted the original thread where he defends his server, citing the actions and behaviors Minty
I've
experienced.
clearly stated that I don't condone. I don't know what this is. What is the P? Pedos or sex of any sort, and then NSFW channels for people who are over 18 and have questions about sex. I am confused by this tweet because you literally have screenshots of me saying I don't condone those things in the rules. Yeah, it sounds like this could be an issue of lack of proper moderation and like boundaries set here. But again, I think it's a stretch to say that he's like trying to predatorize people.
Were against the rules, reinforcing how he doesn't condone not safe for work behavior of any kind, and that the 18+ server is solely for people over 18+ who have genuine not safe for work questions. Stating,
yeah, like but how do you figure that out, right? Like how do you vet that? I think that you should have to look at some kind of a license in order to do that. You know, if you're gonna make that standard, I think you should commit to it pretty heavily.
I interpreted as confusion as to where responsibility lies on his part. A little over 5 months after this initial thread was posted by Minty, another user by the name of @GothicWario, or Cosmo, uploaded a thread of their own to Twitter referencing their issues towards Kevin. Gothic tweets asking users to cancel Kevin, questioning as to why he has been allowed a platform, detailing how Kevin jokes about committing essay to his cat, further citing the majority of the clips we have already seen, and directs users' attention towards Kevin's video titled "Little Girls Excite Me."
Yeah, I don't care about any of that, to be honest with you.
Gothic says there is so much they find wrong with Kevin and that they are confused as to why no one is really discussing him.
Because I don't think Kevin is a fucking predator using these videos as an excuse to do disgusting things. He's a shock value, like annoying person. It's not that big of a deal.
The same day, a little while later, Gothic posted a new thread, with the reason being, quote, "Redoing because I am getting more problematic information that needs to be brought to awareness." Gothic elaborates that they intend to be as organized as possible because of how much attention their initial posting garnered. They also express how they are over 18 years old and are still in high school, and that Kevin had made a response to their initial posting that, reasonably, made them—
I get really blank and physically stimulated when people tweet about me come from a 25-year-old man's mouth. Okay. He's a weirdo. Kevin's a weirdo. I don't understand. That's like in line with all the other things he says.
Uncomfortable. In Kevin's response, he states how, for lack of better terms, how the attention surrounding him and Gothic's post made him excited.
I get really on and physically stimulated when people tweet about me. Like,
okay.
Regardless of the context, I think this might be like only child syndrome because I grew up like lacking attention, and so now I'm like the biggest like.
It's the same as all of his other stuff. He says something is provocative and loaded, and then he dials it back. He's like, I get super turned on when you make tweets about me, and then he's like, actually, I just like the attention. Like that's all of his content. Like we already know the game. It's okay, whatever.
I get on attention, like good and bad. I saw this tweet just now, and I think I have like a mental illness because I actually like this tweet. I think it's funny, and I think it makes me feel like really important that like someone's like out there tweeting my name.
This is probably a cope, to be honest with you, but okay.
When influencers need a break from like online hate, like I don't relate. Like this makes me want to keep going. I also think it's absolutely hilarious that this person brought up like my cat and like my younger female fans to try to say that I'm like a bad person. I've never joked about my cat. I actually love Tobias so much. Like I've invested so much money and so much love into this cat, and like I really took him in post.
I mean, he's kind of did, but it's not really okay. Like you got that wrong. Sure, whatever.
Being like a stray on the street. I'm taking him to the hospital in like 5 hours to check for tapeworms. I do so much for this cat. Like we have like a very special relationship. As for the little girls that excite me, like I genuinely love my younger female fans that like talk to me in public. Like they genuinely make me really happy. I don't get by cats or little girls. Like that's disgusting and that's sick, and that is not who I am. And I feel like,
I mean, that's probably true. You know, there is a conversation, and you know, it's not necessarily applied to him because he does put it directly in your brain about weird shit that he makes a lot of these weird provocative jokes. But there is a conversation to be had. Like when you hear something, what's the first thing you see? The first thing I see here is some guy trying to be edgy and provocative for attention. If the first thing that you see is you genuinely think he wants to fuck his cat or little girls, that might be a self-report on you. Like, I don't have those thoughts, so I'm not really thinking of it in that direction. I'm just saying, I think on the internet, like, we've already accepted that people who watch a lot of like murder mystery type content, true crime stuff, they are a bit brain melted and they get incredibly distressed because it has a legitimate negative impact on your brain. And I think everybody will accept that as a fact. We know that there are people who will constantly engage in like trauma stories on TikTok and other platforms, and that legitimately, it's like a real mental health thing, can give people secondhand trauma. And so, like, just to be clear, like you might be consuming so much of that content that you think that your brain filters things through that predatory lens. That doesn't mean that you are a predator necessarily, but you're just so afraid of everything going on in the world. And maybe it's not that deep. That's all I'm saying. Maybe some of you guys are a little bit victims of your own consumption. You know?
That's like obviously common sense.
I did coin that phrase. Tobbs, terminally online brain syndrome. Okay, I did coin that phrase. I want credit for that. I came up with that. I said that first. Anybody who says otherwise, attack them. No, I'm just kidding.
You know? So yeah.
I did come up with that phrase, though, okay? It's not really an impressive phrase. I'm not trying to, but I did come up with that. If you're asking, I will take credit for it.
I just wanted to share that this tweet, amongst other tweets, get me really just like excited.
Really torques me up.
Obviously, I love positive attention the most. So like, thank you for giving me that to like my followers, my fans, and people that like me. Like, thank you so much. But sometimes when I get hate, can't lie, I kind of like it. Have a blessed day to my fans and haters.
I find it disturbing that Kevin had someone critique and point out what they found to be problematic content of his, and instead of having a constructive back and forth dialogue, he chose to express how excited he was from the user's thread. Like,
well, obviously okay, sure.
Like what? Can we just for like...
This is like right on board with everything else he's done. We know what he's doing, so why are you so confused?
2 seconds, not make it so weird. At the time, he didn't know.
Oh, did I say brain? Terminally online behavior syndrome. Did I say brain? Shut up, dude. I got my own fucking thing wrong. God damn it.
Oh, this was like a very young person in comparison to his age, but it's still like... What?
I don't think that he's thinking about like fucking the young person, so I think that's why he's just like, haha, look at this hate message. This is annoying, right? That's pretty much what that communicated to me.
Why would you say that to begin with? Gothic continues the thread by stating their anger and then proceeds with a collection of images, clips, and statements made by Kevin. A screenshot of a comment exchange between Kevin and a follower of his where the user...
Did you hump it in bed? Yes. Okay, this is about the cat. I don't care.
Asks, did you hump your cat to bed? To which Kevin replies with, yes. The collection of strange clips...
He said that in the thing.
...clips we watched earlier involving his humor towards his cat. His 2 videos about his island roleplay are also present, both the controversial one as well as the explanation video where he talks about how he got the idea from watching the Netflix documentary about the island, which I know we've already moved past this discussion, but I guess this went over my head earlier. I find it arguably distasteful to such an extreme that one could watch a documentary about such a nightmarish scandal that affected actual children, and then what they take away from it is to trivialize the idea on TikTok.
It's just...
Well, I don't know. Okay, I guess. I think it's more weird that like the second he saw it, he's like, I wanna do a roleplay on it. That's the weirdest part to me. But okay.
A thing that kind of like gave me an idea when I was watching his...
This guy's like a weirdo and he should just keep it to himself, but he has a content not doing that, so whatever, man. God bless, I guess.
Documentary, like, oh, I would love to go to like a rich person's island and then like be forced to, like, who wouldn't want that?
Probably every single child that was
So
a victim there,
dumb.
Kevin, if I honestly had to answer that question. Exactly 6 days
Well, Vosh says that some of them might have liked it, okay?
after Gothic's thread, another user by the Twitter handle
I would never say that.
Luxybugs posted a detailed thread of their own in response to the information they had read through from both Gothic and Minty's thread. I will state with full disclosure that this user at Luxybugs is actually my boyfriend. I understand how this can play into...
That's your boyfriend?
Full disclosure that this user at Luxybugs is actually my boyfriend.
Oh, you're gay? I'm just kidding. That's God bless. I'm just being stupid.
I understand how this can play into a bias and seem off-putting.
Yeah, it can, but it doesn't mean that all of it's non-credible.
To be given information by someone I am in a relationship with. I can see how one may find that I could lean towards a certain lens in regards to the narrative of this story. Lux and I have had thorough conversations and have tried to bring this information as uniformly as possible without attempting to witch hunt. However, their findings are sincerely concerning in regards to online child safety. I do not say that lightly. I want to clarify that the online child safety remark is not an accusation towards Kevin being a predator. After reading through the initial threads, Lux grew interested and want to see for themselves if...
I mean, that's fair. You could think that he's not a predator, but also some of the ways that he conducts himself are inappropriate and could potentially lead to problems. Sure. I think that from what I'm seeing, having the NSFW servers or channels in his Discord, that could be problematic without like properly vetting them, like, you know, unless they're not allowed in without like an ID or something. So like, yeah, I could see that as an issue.
Kevin's server was actually as volatile as users made it out to be. Lux begins their thread by retweeting Minty's original thread, stating, quote, "I saw this thread and decided to do a deeper look into it. The behavior that is taking place in Kevin Leonardo's The Coolest Kev's Discord is disgusting, and I'd like to share some of what I've been able to find." They proceed to explain how, as we all know by now, that Kevin's content is not safe for work, whether it be his educational videos or his sense of humor. Yet, they also point out how Kevin's Discord allows anyone as young as 13 to join, but has rules against not safe for work content in any of the channels. Not safe for work and explicit conversations are told to be sent in the 18+ only chat. While yes, this is age restricted, there's nothing actually safeguarding this channel preventing minors from joining. All there is a prompt saying, you must be 18 years or older to enter this channel, but all you have to do is just click, yeah, I'm 18, and you're allowed access.
Yeah, that's definitely more should be done there, for sure. I mean, I agree with that.
It's not exactly an airtight way to verify people's ages, especially if you're going to be running an educational server of this type. Lux follows this by making note of the concerning fact that there are no rules distinguishing minors from adults, and that the moderator Meta has access to the Not Safe for Work channel, which can
Yeah, that's not good either. Sure, those are all problematic. Okay.
be seen here in an image where Meta replies to a deleted message in the 18+ channel. A reminder, once again, Meta has stated that they are 14 years old. Moving forward, Lux provides 3 additional screenshots. The first one is a conversation between a moderator and another discussing the idea of locking the Not Safe for Work channel behind an 18+ role, to which the moderator replies, I mean, it's really just for questions that we shouldn't be asking in general. People below 18 can have questions. It's not like there's anything 18+ said in that channel. It's all info you can Google.
Okay. I still don't think it's appropriate, but if what they're saying is like, hey, this isn't a discussion, this is a question channel, I don't know. I just say no, never mind. No, that's a hard no. You shouldn't. I don't like. Here's the thing. Like I said, just because I don't think that this means that that people are taking advantage of what's going on. Like, you know, basically a not safe for work conversations with people. I'm not saying that people are getting taken advantage of, but I think it leaves too much to be taken advantage of for you to like allow that. Like, you should do better when it comes to the monitoring these situations. Because you really don't want a discussion of like, let's say like a 14-year-old's like, hey, like here's a sexual discussion. Like, I'm curious about condom use or something. Well, I don't really know what the question they would be asking, and you don't really necessarily, you know, let's say that's what they did. Let's just see all this. Let's say they're like, oh, I'm thinking about sleeping with somebody for the first time. Let's say there's like 17 or 16 or something. Let's make it a little older, and fucking 14 is crazy. You know, should I do it unprotected? And somebody would be like, oh no, you should not do it unprotected. You can be dangerous. That's fine. But then it's like, what happens if that just keeps like steamrolling and it turns into some kind of a conversation and it gets inappropriate? And it's just like, I don't think that should be happening. I don't even think you should leave the potential for that to happen. So it just increases the possibility too much. It's Discord. It's too unregulated. You have 14-year-old moderators as well. And 14-year-olds are fucking stupid. And if they saw some type of potential grooming behavior, I don't think that they would be able to identify it. You know, I would just say that, hey, you shouldn't be doing this. You know, it would be good to not do that.
While yes, it's true that questions can be Googled, and I'm gonna sound pretty sarcastic here, a not safe for work Discord server moderated by a 14-year-old where there are 0 roles or safety features to differentiate minor
and I'm sure that there's more than just that one moderator, but still, it's not appropriate.
From adults, really the safest place to seek out that kind of information. I find the idea that someone who could be an adult hidden behind their username can, unmonitored, give their own advice regarding private matters to a minor to be a pretty...
Yeah, I mean, like, and here's the thing. Let's say they have a rule in the Discord that's like no sexual conversation. So if you ask a sexual question, it won't be a sexual conversation, if that makes sense. Like, it won't be a sexually explicit conversation. It might be a conversation about sex, but it wouldn't be an explicit one. I still think that, like, that leads the, what's stopping a 14-year-old from posting a question about sex innocently, and then, like, a 30-year-old person messaging them privately and being like, hey, so you had this question, like, maybe we should talk here privately. You don't want that. That's potentially very dangerous, you know?
Pretty alarming red flag. Kevin, from what I interpreted from his wording and responses, believes there is nothing wrong with having a channel to ask these kinds of questions.
This is a sexual education. I think it's a sex ed channel, is 18+, right? People keep bringing it up on Twitter and TikTok, even though I don't think there's anything wrong with you guys having your own channel to talk about sex ed. Sorry, I haven't been active. That's another thing. He doesn't seem very active in his own Discord. So here's the thing. He doesn't seem very active in his own Discord, which means if there are problems going on, he wouldn't know about it. And it's like, that's kind of like another area where, like, you're really leaving yourself open to some kind of liability, I would say.
Questions, and makes mention of how people are bringing up these issues on Twitter. To his, I suppose, defense, Kevin says he hasn't been active on his Discord as much, so perhaps he hasn't seen these exact particular actions taking place, but that ignorance of the issue is weakened when it's been brought to his attention 5 months prior currently, that he has a 14-year-old moderator on his staff that's managing not safe for work images, posts, conversations, content, etc.
And like, here's the thing, I wonder, I wonder if they're explicitly managing the not safe for work stuff, or if that is just a moderator that doesn't manage that type of stuff. Like maybe they're like, yeah, you can moderate everything else, but we have another moderator for this. It's possible. I don't know the specifics. I'm just saying.
And yet he still has this miner as what seems to be his lead mod on his server staff. Not only this, but Kevin also recognizes himself that a lot of his followers are minors. If you look on screen, here he is acknowledging this himself.
Any Blink fans, please make one, Kevin. What is that? Oh, OnlyFans. Guys, I woke up today at 12 p.m. No OF. A lot of my followers are minors. I feel like that's crusty, and I also can't. Okay, fair enough.
He's had 5 months since the initial thread regarding his Discord server to not only make critical safety decisions, but to also remove a minor who has direct access to all the not safe for work content that can be found within the server. Yet, nothing has been done to ensure that what should be a safe and productive place for education, something I would argue Kevin would believe is very important to him, becomes as intended. If you're going to run this type of Discord, a education Discord, as the creator, I firmly believe you should have a heavy presence in maintaining its safety. Negligence is never an option when children are involved. Lux goes on to say they have seen firsthand multiple minors in the 18+ channels, as well as numerous not safe for work conversations taking place outside of the designated areas for such, stating that Kevin took part in a few of these exchanges. Attached are 3 screenshots that document such interactions. Here we have a user whose introduction.
Age 13, beat age, July 26th, nationality, is that Chinese? I have no idea. Gender, boy, pronouns, simp for Kevin Leonardo. Okay, incredible.
Introduction states they are 13 and, quote, a simp for Kevin. The next image is of this underage.
Kevin got blank by blank blank. I have no idea what that is. Yes, help, I am blank. Okay, there's so many censors. Kevin, when are you going to do a tutorial on how to suck dick? Okay, I can read that one. Okay.
User asking explicit questions in the 18+ chat, which, if I attempted to censor, it would sound like a brief moment of silence. So I'll leave these up on screen and—
help, I'm sucking dick right now. I think I got AIDS. What do I do? Okay, this is like an annoying, edgy little kid. But yeah, I mean, you don't really want to encourage this type of conversation to be had here.
As mentioned, there will be a drive link to the uncensored.
It seems like they're trolling, but it's still like, this type of stuff shouldn't be considered appropriate for your platform here.
Screenshots down below.
You're really just like harming yourself at this point. Like you're putting yourself in a place where, you're potentially creating a breeding ground for grooming behaviors.
Oh, next we have 2.
That's a Turkish flag? Why the fuck would I know that? I don't know anything outside of America. Oh, how do you not know this Turkish flag? You're an idiot. No, you're an idiot. Let me explain something to you, motherfucker. Okay, I live in America. America's massive. You think okay, America has more cultures than like the entirety of Europe put together. Every state is a new fucking culture. You think I give a shit? It takes like 2 fucking holes. It takes 50 hours to drive from New York to California. Our country is massive. All right, so I'm more educated on other stuff in my country, relevant things. Turkey? What is that? What is Turkey? Nobody cares about Turkey. Only thing that we get from Turkey is the worst political streamer of our entire generation. Okay.
2 interactions between this miner and Kevin. The first being a message where the miner said,
I want Kevin to rail me. Like, oh my God. And choke on it. Okay, incredible.
I want Kevin to rail me, like OMG, and choke on it. To which Kevin, rather than discouraging this behavior, simply says, oh.
Yeah, Kevin, you might want to say, don't do that. That's fucking crazy. Yep. I just wanted to see when they sent this message, so they're 13 at the time of sending it. Yeah.
And Kevin. The first being a message where the miner says, I want Kevin to like
OMG
and choke on it. To which Kevin, rather than discouraging this behavior, simply says, oh.
I do wonder if Kevin saw the original post where they said they were 13, because it sounds like if he's not super in the know, then he may not know that they're 13, but it's still like you shouldn't be inviting this type of potential discussion to happen there, Kev.
Preceding this is yet another exchange between Kevin and this user that reads as the following. At Kevin Leonardo, Josh Hutcherson or Taylor Swift? To which Kevin replies, right now, Josh Hutcherson. It's 10:26.
Oh, he's saying he would have sleep with him.
Here. The user responds to Kevin by simply saying help, to which Kevin replies with a message that's incredible.
Hassan's from Turkey? Are we talking about Turkey, dude? What are you talking about? What country did you say that was? Wasn't it Turkey?
Incredibly inappropriate to send to a minor. I'm loosey-goosey. What about you? It's 7 a.m. for me. I want his high key. I'm not
Okay.
sure if Kevin has checked this particular user's intro to see their exact age. Not that it really matters, because when you're having these types of conversations online, you should never assume. But when you allow your audience, who you yourself say contains a lot of minors, to be in your server, you say that everything is okay because explicit conversations remain in the 18+ chats. You actively have minors having explicit conversations in said 18+ chats. You don't discourage said conversations in general chat where minors are apparently to be designated, and then you yourself hold a not safe for work conversation in the same general chat with a minor. I can't help but come to the conclusion that this is highly inappropriate and extremely negligent on Kevin's part. But
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that for sure.
it doesn't stop there. Not at all. What follows
Oh no!
is another minor in the introduction channel.
Age 13, pronouns he, him. Location, fuck you. Why do you even have your location? Whatever, I guess you could just say state. It's not super intimate. Straight male, fact, getting to the gym and doing my homework, my home workout routine, and not getting too lazy. Okay, great. This kid's annoying as shit.
Who claims to be
All kids are annoying.
13, the bare minimum age requirement for the server. This was posted on
Oh yeah, that's the bare minimum age requirement for like Discord now.
8/24/23. This user could be found almost a month prior in the 18+ not safe for work questions.
Is it okay to come? That's a real question I would have as a kid. I remember getting really scared the first time I did it. I cried. I was watching a Girls Gone Wild commercial. I didn't do anything else for months after that. It was incredible.
Asking, quote, is it okay to The reason I point out the dates is that for a month, a 13-year-old was able to have access to a not safe for work 18+ chat, yet wasn't required to verify their age, meaning there would be no way of telling if this was an adult or a minor until they themselves voluntarily provided this information.
Sure.
This is a very bad mix for an endless amount of reasons. Here we have the reverse example of a user posting their age on August.
Oh, name Joe Mama, age 16, pronouns him, locations man's, straight. Anything? Interests? DMs open. Yeah, see, the DMs open, that's like a big issue to me. That's where I think it becomes more problematic, because you have people, many of which seem to be minors, with their DMs open. So like, what's stopping like a grown person from contacting them? Right? Like, that's problematic. That's like a big issue. So like I said, what happens if they go into the not safe for work Discord and ask like a question like, oh, you know, like, what's this? And then somebody DMs them privately and goes like, oh, well, I could show you, you know, what stops that?
6, 2023. Yet months later, it can be found as recently as December 27th, 2023, asking questions in the 18+ not safe for work questions channel. Here's a safe, educational question of theirs. Where's the weirdest place you've ever played yourself?
Okay. Shit, I'm not gonna lie, brothers. I used to, you know, I'm not even gonna talk about it. I'm not even gonna say anything.
Right. Do I need to explain why it's beyond not okay that
It's 2024, guys. We have to learn some boundaries ourselves. We can't be saying all the weird shit.
an adult can answer this question for a 16-year-old, and that we'd never know
That's not an educational question either. That's just like a fucking question. That's like a weird question.
one did anyways? This 16-year-old states that their DMs are open. What happens when someone who is older and doesn't state their age now has direct access to an inappropriate conversation with a minor? The fact that these messages can be found as recent as December means that Kevin took little to no action since the original thread from Menti regarding his Discord to better implement the safety features and verify that what he is cultivating is a safe and educational environment for his community.
So the only thing I'll say, and something might change, but if he says this is early as December, he said, right?
Safety features and little to no action since the original thread from Menti regarding his Discord to better implement the safety features and verify that what he is cultivating is a safe and educational environment for his community.
Okay, all I'm going to say, and he might show more, but the implication there that you're giving us is that the last thing that you could find is from December, and you can no longer find that, which suggests to me that they might have, because this video was made a month ago, so April. He might have since then implemented more features to be more protected. I don't know. I can't speak to that, but that's the implication I'm getting from this.
I can't even begin to show you the examples of blatant racism that takes place within the server, but even blurred, you can make some
Oh my god. Oh my god. That's George Flopper from Fortnite. Oh, Kevin, you can't allow this stuff, brother.
inferences as to the context of these messages. Remember,
I need to see the meme.
this is strictly
I need you to show me the fucking meme.
against the rules of Kevin's server. Speaking of rules, remember that no explicit content rule? And remember how the 18+ not safe for work questions channel is meant to be for general health and educational related questions? Also, do you recall the amount of minors that were able to speak in these channels? In fact, one of their mods stating that minors would look these questions up on Google anyways? Well,
Yeah, it's just that like no one's gonna reach out to you through Google if you ask a question to try to like fuck with you, you know?
Find it strange then that there are countless uncensored explicit images that can be found being posted in these chats.
There might be. I wouldn't doubt it. I'd have to see them to verify like what they are, how bad they are. You know, so.
Even a message with a user asking if any of the mods come into the channel because they love the explicit images they can freely see there.
Oh, well, that does show it. Do any mods come in here? Because I'm loving the dicks I can see. Incredible.
This is a channel minors can actively speak in. Here is a literal screenshot of someone posting in the 18+ not safe for work chat saying, quote, "I am a minor. Children are undoubtedly being directly exposed to this." After Lux's follow-up thread was posted.
And I doubt that they're going to get some kind of a traumatic experience from seeing wiener pictures, because they could see those on the internet, but that's not like the point. The point isn't whether they can or can't get traumatized. The whole point really here is like whether this type of thing is going to expose them potentially to some kind of predatory individual that will take advantage of what's going on here. That's what the bigger issue is.
Which we will look at here in a moment. The Not Safe for Work channel was deleted roughly about an hour later. The mod meta, citing the
okay, so it sounds like they might have gotten rid of it. Okay.
Reason for deletion was that there was no purpose for it.
Okay, I mean, at least they took a step out of doing that.
Means up until roughly a week ago, this was a known problem for months, and Kevin actively neglected this. Hell, I'd argue in ways of his own, partook in this.
Maybe. It sounds like he did the right thing.
We have a message exchange between Kevin and his 14-year-old mod Meta, where Kevin talks about how he is, quote, about his new video coming out.
Do you like? I'm so aroused. Videos coming out in a couple hours. Kevin, I'm loving this. And a video. Holy blank. Oh, you're so lucky, man. Yes, it made me so aroused.
To which mod Meta, in ways of his own, partook in this. Here we have a message exchange between Kevin and his 14-year-old mod Meta, where Kevin talks about how he is, quote, about his new video coming out.
So just to be clear, because this is inappropriate regardless, the one thing I wanted to confirm when I heard him again is that this is not a personal DM. It's still wrong, just to be clear, but this seems like it's a DM between Kevin. It's a public DM. It actually probably is inside of a channel, because you see Kevin's profile picture, some random one, and then the mod. And the reason I'm saying that is because like that, if it was one-on-one, that increases the likeliness of some kind of like more inappropriate behavior or less appropriate behavior, I would say. So it's a good thing that this is a public conversation, because you shouldn't be having these conversations regardless, but I would say that if it's in private, then it has more potential suspicious outcomes potentially. It's more concerning.
To which Meta responds that the video made them feel the same way. Incredible. This wording, from what I can tell, is a running joke in Kevin's community. The same community, he says, is made up of a large following of minors. And here he is actively sharing this joke with a 14-year-old, which, I'd argue, breaks the barrier of being a not safe for work creator. The conversation continues with another age-unknown user saying how the song made them feel damp, as well as another
made them feel what? Did he release a song? Kevin, can you drop the official lyrics? They aren't on Spotify, and I'm shaking more than my sister's blank sex toy. That's what they're saying. Oh my god, the key change, Kevin. I'm wet. He means the word. Okay. Okay, Kevin, you're a fucking idiot for allowing this kind of shit to go on your Discord.
Age unknown user saying how the song made them feel damp, as well as another. I'm not going to read that. Another conversation with Meta, where Meta jokes that Kevin, by saying another user by the name of Gloof, wants him to do a tutorial on how to use an inappropriate device. Kevin does not discourage this conversation, and instead humors Meta by saying he is unable to do this because he lies.
Kevin Goof wants you to do a blank toy visual guide. Shut up, Meta. You're such a local. Okay, is that like a normie?
Kevin does not discourage this conversation, and instead
Well, it doesn't seem to be okay. It's all inappropriate regardless, but it doesn't seem to be a one-on-one conversation. It seems like, hey, this person wants you to do a review on this toy. Not like, hey, let's talk about sex toys. Okay, I'm gonna be for real. Don't you need a blank to use that blank toy? Okay. Okay, I guess you would need to have lady parts to use that toy, is what he's saying.
Humors Meta by saying he is unable to do this because he doesn't have the physical features required for this. Can we take a wild guess as to what this word might be?
You could put the toy in your butt.
This conversation continues with the user telling Kevin he should use Meta for the tutorial instead, to which Meta replies with what? Kevin, despite being directly replied to by Gloof to his prior message, does nothing to discourage this. This isn't the
definitely a problem.
Only inappropriate exchange found between these three users either. There's another conversation that was found between these three users, where Gloof says that, quote, Meta is so hot, to which Kevin replies saying they love Meta. No regard for the unverified age of Gloof, who's calling his 14-year-old moderator this, but let's continue. Gloof is seen here responding to Kevin saying, Meta is my Pookie. I hate to break it to you, Kevin. Kevin argues back, "No, he's mine," to which Gloof once again jokes about fighting Kevin for Meta to be their Pookie. Yeah, okay. Anyways, there are two outcomes here when you summarize the exchange between these three users.
Yeah, you just shouldn't have this happen. It opens up too many potential like possibilities for somebody to get hurt or a young person to get hurt.
Their Gloof is an adult, and both they and
It
Kevin
doesn't mean that that's what's happening, but it's not worth finding out. You know what I mean?
are partaking in not safe for work exchanges and gross conversations with a minor, or Gloof is a minor, and now Kevin is having the same conversation with two children. Both of these outcomes are not ideal to say the least. In fact, I think they're pretty disgusting. A few days later, Lux updated their thread with even more information, screenshots, and evidence they found within Kevin's server. The intro to this thread reads as the following. Update. About an hour after I made this thread, the mod, 14 years old, removed the not safe for work channel, and Kevin seems to have been made aware of the thread. Thankfully, with the deletion of the Not Safe for Work channel, kids are less likely to be exposed to that content, while it can't be confirmed. As mentioned, within 1 hour...
It's not like the content issue. The issue is like what conversations can arise out of that content from some kind of predatory individual in the Discord.
Or of Lux posting their thread, the Not Safe for Work channel was removed, and Kevin shortly after posted this in his Discord. The way I do nothing, and this Discord server continues to be tweeted about negatively every few months. Y'all, I'm so sick of Twitter. Kevin, it's the very...
I mean, me too, but you are acting inappropriately, Kev, so...
fact that you aren't doing anything that results in the server being talked about negatively online. This server has no safety features, no role separating adults from minors. Explicit images posted in channels deemed only for educational questions. Channels that minors actively talk in, minors of your own community. Yes, it says 18 plus and you have to click confirm, but that clearly isn't preventing children from entering. Yet there's no addressing these problems until months later and after 3 threads have been posted. There's still extreme racism littered without adults
just kidding.
Actively having not safe for work conversations with minors. Kevin himself has a conversation with someone who's hitting on his own 14-year-old moderator, and there's no role to confirm whether this was a minor or not. He's having a conversation about not safe for work devices, and a user joking that he should use his 14-year-old mod for that tutorial. There's no discouragement. There's no safeguarding. So yes, Kevin, it is exactly that. You're doing nothing. Lux goes on to point out that there are still adults having not safe for work conversations with minors, and uploads an example where, as you can see on screen,
hey guys, I'm in need of a blend. I can't even remember what that is. It's hard to see. Real any takers? What the fuck does that mean? What?
One user in the general chat, so already against Kevin's rules he claims to adamantly stand by, says they are in need of a specific type of partner.
Oh, and this is in February 2024, so this is much more recent than the other ones too.
Asking if there are any takers.
Oh, a gay bottom partner. Got it. It took me a second. Yeah, you shouldn't be letting that conversation happen.
What follows is another user who replies, me, stating that they
I'm a tight femboy.
I'm gonna leave this up on screen for you to see.
Incredible.
And are, quote, a femboy. This user, according to their bio, is 16 going on 17.
Okay.
This is yet another unmoderated interaction between a user whose age is unknown and a minor taking place in the non-designated areas for even having such a conversation, where, to begin with, should only be happening between two adults. This is taking place one...
Kevin, your Discord's pretty fucked up, buddy.
...day after Lux's thread was posted. Kevin, at this point, now had 3 Twitter threads made about him and his Discord server, 2 which Kevin himself admits to being aware of due to him directly responding to them.
I saw this tweet just now. I think it's funny, and I think it makes me feel like really important.
Lux finished their thread by stating that this server is not a safe environment for minors, and that
I agree with that, sure.
While recently deleting the Not Safe for Work channel was a step in the right direction, more needs to be done when these conversations are happening in every corner of Kevin's Discord, stating that Kevin should have a strong incentive to protect members of his own community, citing Kevin's acknowledgement of his audience as being made up of a quantity of minors. With Lux's final thread coming to a close, they would post no further updates. However, the research and discovery of further issues found within Kevin's Discord server continued. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish we could say by this point of the video, we were done. And if you're still here, I applaud you for being quite the trooper. And
yeah, I mean, so far, I don't care about the content. Doesn't seem like I don't particularly care about the content. I don't think it's like that bad. It's just like, you know, provocative. But Discord is definitely like a problem. They need to moderate the Discord much better. It could, I mean, hopefully nobody has had a negative experience where they got harmed by an older person trying to contact them, but it leaves way too much room for that kind of stuff to happen. So that's not good.
It this far, but we still unfortunately have more to get through. So let's brush ourselves off, maybe pause, go grab some water, and let's waste no time.
Depths of the Discord. Is it as deep as his Nair-covered anus? Sorry.
When entering the announcements channel, one could primarily find messages from the 14-year-old moderator Meta, as well as a few messages from Kevin thanking his mods or telling them that he loves them. The first message in this channel is dated 7/11/2023, with an
7-Eleven. Who doesn't love a good 7-Eleven run?
announcement from Meta discussing the return of the server, as well as some heated choice of words towards one user only known as Float. It appears from further research that Float may have been a moderator within the server, yet there was a raid he was to blame for that apparently caused the server to go up in flames.
Oh shit, dude.
This user Float also, according to Kevin, doxed Kevin via Twitter. As to the reasoning why, not that there is ever a good reason to
Probably doesn't like Kevin anymore. That would be it.
dox someone, it's unclear. What's peculiar about this information is that in Kevin's server, there's a role users can obtain that commemorate those who were there on the day
7-Eleven nuke server? Fucking stupid.
Kevin's server was raided. And the reason that boggles my head a little bit is because if we can get a role for something that niche, why isn't there a role to differentiate minors from adults? You're
I don't think it would matter if there was a role differentiating minors from adults, to be absolutely honest with you. I mean, it does matter, but it doesn't really matter, right? Because you can't actually ensure that they are adults. That's the bigger issue. Like, for the people, and most of the people I would argue that like care about that, like, yeah, that would be good. Like, okay, this person's 18 or this person's under 18 or over 18. So like, it would help for the majority of people who are well-meaning. But you know, for the predators, that's not going to matter to them. If anything, that's just going to be like a fucking beacon of like, I want to talk to this person, right? So.
clearly making roles, yet that's just one you felt that might need to be left out. What also is just flat out not okay is that Meta, who is, as we've said, a minor, can be found in the announcements section going—
And I didn't see the— maybe I'll try to read through the things, but there should also be a rule of like, you cannot privately DM a minor from this server.
over a few things about the server. But what catches my eye is where Meta says, quote, if somebody sends anything not safe for work, or go send me a DM.
Okay, proud to say that access. Okay, gotcha.
This is a 14-year-old that Kevin apparently handpicked that is confirmed to be moderating not safe for work content, which is— this is a 14-year-old that Kevin apparently—
okay, shut up. Okay. Proud to say that the no access is back up. Did they get rid of the channel and it defaulted to saying that? Dino is currently giving everybody the at media access role. I will remove it for some people. Everybody should be able to use it by a certain time. For people who have it removed, you'll need to get level 3 access to get the channel. If somebody sends NSFW or gore, send me a DM. Okay. So the obviously the idea is if they send the gore or something, like let me know so that I can delete it. Sure.
Thing not safe for work.
By the way, thank you so much for the $5 from Will Knight 1. Howdy, Papa. First time catching the stream. I just wanted to say I've been loving your content. Keep it up. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot, man. I really do.
Or go send me a DM. This is a 14-year-old that Kevin apparently handpicked that is confirmed to be moderating not safe for work content, which is yet again confirmation of a minor having direct access to not safe for work content.
Yeah, you shouldn't be having your minor individual being the one to deal with that kind of stuff in that Discord channel. Like, that's just inappropriate. Again, it doesn't mean that the kid's gonna get fucking traumatized from seeing stuff, but it's just not appropriate. You shouldn't be having somebody who shouldn't be legally looking at that type of content be the moderator. In fact, I wouldn't. Is that illegal? That sounds like it could potentially be illegal. Like, that's silly. You know, like, you can't have I think you can't have somebody under like 18 use like a deli slicer at a job. You know what I mean? So I feel like this would be along those lines. You know, in my opinion, you really shouldn't be doing that.
A user whom Kevin appears to be somewhat close with. As we can see, they discuss playing Roblox together, and Kevin even asks them how school's going.
Okay, let me see something.
But to be somewhat close,
Hi, Kevin. Hey, babe. How are you, man? Okay, sounds like this is all done publicly because he added the person. How are you, Meta? I'm good. Editing right now. A TikTok video. Yeah, nice. Can't wait to see it. I'm gonna league in a bit. I think he said leave in a bit. My PC is absolute potato. Can't run League. Oh, he's going to play League in a bit. Also ignore that. Oh, shit. See, that's racism right there.
As we can see,
going on TikTok live again. I will probably tomorrow or Sunday, and we can play Roblox together. Okay.
They discuss playing Roblox together, and Kevin even asks them how—
DSKS. I don't know what the fuck that means. How was school? It's Friday. It was good. What are you guys doing this weekend? Some kid brought in a duck.
How school's going?
Call in the math class. Okay. Yeah, you know, I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about that. You know, personally, I think it would be a boundary to set to not really get this close to a young person. Again, I don't think it's like a huge issue that he seems like he's friendly with the person. But it could lead to an issue. That's what makes me uncomfortable about it. You know what I mean? So, especially on Discord where like the parents aren't aware of it and can't monitor and see what's going on, it just makes me uncomfortable. You really should just remove that scenario from yourself.
which can be seen here. So if I had to strongly infer, Kevin is beyond well aware of the age of this user. Moving on, we have a message exchange posted in the suggestions channel between 3 users. One user is asking for an explicit image from another user.
Can we get a blank pic? Do you shave your... Oh, it's a pussy pic. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, that's not good.
While another asks a not safe for work question regarding the nature of the not safe for work picture. The user then replies, quote, "You first." Neither of these users have a post in the introductions channel that would state their age, nor do their bios have a set age.
They shouldn't be having these conversations. Well, they shouldn't really be having this conversation at all. What the fuck, you know? Like, damn.
There is no way of knowing if the participants of this conversation were minors, adults, or both. And the Deep Stuff channel, a channel seemingly made for venting, not safe for work conversations between unverified users can be found as recently as February 17th, at the time this video is being written. Once more, these images will be linked in a Google Drive down below, as some of these, even with censoring, I can't even attempt to repeat. Lux revisited the intros channel, and found a pinned message from Meta, asking users who choose to add an intro which would state their age, and might I remind you that this is not required by any user, to format their introductions in a certain way. With intros easy to read through due to their required format, Lux found that through a quick scroll, a large number of users appear to be minors. They also found that the last 7 users alone were all users under the age of 17. And if we look at Kevin's other moderator, we find no age, only that they are, quote, an unaging immortal
name, paralysis. Oh my god. I'm an unaging immortal being. Sounds like a lolicon bait to me, okay? Every lolicon. I look 7, but I'm actually an immortal wizard, unaging paralysis dragon. I love Attack on Titan.
mortal being, which translates to, we can't confirm if this is another hand-picked minor who is moderating not safe.
Or they could just say they're 18 and really be a fucking 10-year-old kid. Like, we don't know any of this shit. You know what I mean?
Safe for work content or not. Here we have someone telling another user saying, quote, I want you to send me a video of you to Kevin Leonardo.
Incredible.
A message from Kevin in general chat, which might I remind is not an 18+ channel. Guys, people keep to me and telling me in my DMs.
Okay, well, you kind of created that environment there, Kevin. Maybe you shouldn't have done that.
A user can be seen here saying that Kevin liked their story and that it made them, for lack of better terms, excited. A user replying to this message says how Kevin VC'd with them, adding him directly saying, I love you, Kevin, you're the best. The same user then asked Kevin how a hair removing treatment is going and if he'd recommend it. To which Kevin bluntly says, using his resounding way of words, low-key not really because my smells right now.
Kevin. What are you doing?
How educational, Kevin. This user, by the way, is a 15-year-old minor. I feel like this is the first genuine question I've seen from a user in this server. I'm sure there's some actually out there, but it's a very simple, Kevin.
My man's 26 now, brother. You got no excuse.
Do you recommend this treatment? And then Kevin, who adamantly stands by his server being a safe place to ask these kinds of questions, replies with this. It's just like, wow. Back in general chat, one user says that they believe the server should be 18+ rather than 13+, to which
yeah, I mean, I would agree with that, considering all the sexual conversations going on.
2 more users chime in, one saying that there would be less members if this happened, and
yes, of course.
The other that everyone by now has seen Kevin in an explicit manner in regards to his content, so it wouldn't matter at this point anyways.
Well, yes, it would matter, because it's not about whether you saw Kevin spread asshole on YouTube. What it's about is the potential harm or danger for having like allowing an open platform where minors, children, can talk to grown adults privately in DMs. Like, that's the problem.
And if you keep your eyes on the screen,
like, you have a scenario where, to me, a lot of these are jokes. But what that means is, like, now in this Discord, the culture of the Discord is a lot of sexual jokes with minors involved, and they might all be minors. You know, I don't know any adult who actually like Kevin's shit, but, you know, let's say they have all these sexual conversations and they're all considered jokes. All it takes is one guy to start having an inappropriate conversation with somebody through the guise of like, oh, I'm just joking. Like, this is the culture of the server, and now the culture of the server is being used to potentially escalate like some kind of a problem, right? It's like, no, I was just kidding, you know, and they have, it's dangerous. It's dangerous.
You'll see another not safe for work message in general from Kevin directly, where he says he believes he performs a certain action very well.
Yeah, it's a blowjob.
There are countless
incredible. Thank you, Kevin.
Examples here. Countless minors being exposed to or discussing not safe for work content with little to no moderation at all. Numerous unverified users having inappropriate conversations. Subjects I can't even begin to discuss in this video because there's just no realistic way for me to do so. Kevin himself, being aware of the threads and admitting his knowledge of having a younger audience, still has done nothing for months to enforce safety between his community members. Instead, he cites how he's controversial and how much he loves attention.
I think this might be like only child syndrome because I grew up like lacking attention, and so now I'm like the biggest like I get on attention, like good and bad.
Because that's really what you do when you're made aware that there's some really bad stuff going on that should really be addressed. You talk about how excited.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that like a person in general is going to have an adverse effect to being called out. Like that's typically what happens at first when somebody gets called out. They're like, "Oh, I'm getting called out. Like fuck you," and they get defensive. Like that's typically somebody's first response. So I don't really care about his response necessarily in that thing. It's not perfect or the way he should be operating, but like I don't think that. He doesn't seem to be somebody with predatory intentions. I mean, I guess he could be, but everything I've seen so far, I don't think so. But he definitely has to set firmer boundaries, and one of those boundaries needs to be like not allowing young people into that Discord.
It makes you. How you just love the limelight. You brag about it in the actual server where it's happening. Kevin's Discord, which was intended to be a server dedicated to the education around sensitive and oftentimes embarrassing topics for a very real and vulnerable community, is in my opinion an unacceptably neglected server that is an active danger to child safety every moment this type of behavior is allowed to continue.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
He actively allows a 14-year-old to moderate not safe for work content. A 14-year-old who requests that any not safe for work content posted within the Discord should be brought to their attention directly. A 14-year-old that Kevin has also partaken in not safe for work conversations with, alongside another user whose age can't even be verified to begin with. And speaking of unverified ages, let's not forget we can't confirm his other moderator's age.
It's fucking paralysis, Steven. Okay.
So we're unsure if we have 2 instances of this occurring or not. Kevin has had ample opportunity to discourage this type of behavior and bolster the moderation of his server for months. Yet he stands behind the defense that he does nothing, which is exactly right. Nothing is being done and that just cannot continue. Backlash or not, this issue needs to be brought to the attention of online users. This can't just continue to be dismissed as someone who's out of pocket or invulnerable to criticism. I understand that there are aspects of Kevin's content that help people. I've seen the comments and numerous people who do find a lot of his videos.
That I find hard to believe, but maybe that's the case. Maybe there are some people that are like, wow, this really, I mean, somebody in the before said that some of his content is unironically helpful. So you know what? Maybe there's a truth to it. Maybe it really helps him. I don't, or them, whoever the fuck ever watches it. But okay.
Videos to be educational, leaving his fans oftentimes heard or understood. And the last thing I want to do is to diminish the fact that Kevin himself has had his own struggles. As a victim of CSA myself, I understand that it comes with its own unique battles, but I can't ignore
terrible stuff, brothers.
The glaring red flags that others such as Minty, Gothic, or Lux, and more before me have taken notice of. Those flags being of negligence, the usage of real-world issues that affected real lives for shock value, predatory humor to transition into a story time that features an image of an actual minor, the ignorance to issues being presented in his server via Twitter, and how instead of understanding his influence as a creator who has a lot of young people including minors who look up to him, he decides to make light of it in his Discord and make a response saying how much he loves the attention. The participation of not safe for work message exchanges with known minors and users who can't even be verified as adults or not. There is so much wrong going on here, and it's why I've tried my best to separate the educational content and the bad humor from the insensitive and genuinely concerning as well as disturbing issues that are taking place underneath all of this. Kevin has to take accountability eventually. He is allowed to make not safe for work content. He has that right. And you realistically can't control the age demographic of your entire audience. That's just a matter of fact of being a creator online. But the moment you recognize your presence as a not safe for work creator, you have to be extremely careful and ensure you're doing everything in your power to separate yourself from the minors of your audience. You shouldn't be having conversations about how parts of you are smelly to a 15-year-old.
This is so fucking stupid.
Or talking with
yeah, Kevin's a fucking idiot. So far, we haven't seen anything that's like actively predatory. But again, like you don't want to open the potential for this kind of stuff. He needs to be a lot more careful. All right, like to me, this Kevin guy seems like somebody who has boundary issues, but that probably grew up as like a fucking gay. I mean, he kind of referenced this. He grew up as a gay kid that was kind of confused about it, didn't feel very confident about it, and he wishes that like he had people that would talk to him and make him feel better about being gay in some capacity when he was younger. And that's why he is like, oh, I'm fine with having these chats with like these young people because like maybe they need to have like an adult friend that makes them feel like it's okay for them to be gay or something. Right? I get it, but you need to be extraordinarily careful because you don't want to put these other people in harm's way. So you have to be a lot smarter about it.
Verified users in a discussion involving an inappropriate device tutorial with your 14-year-old moderator. You shouldn't, as a not safe for work creator, open up a Discord server with the intention of being educational, then neglect that intention and instead have a child be in charge of sifting through channels that are littered with disgusting images and conversations. Kevin, in my opinion, should delete the server.
Probably, yeah. Like, he should just delete it and maybe start over.
It's clear that this Discord is a recipe for disaster, and already proves to hold unsafe conversations, which I'd heavily argue is a big problem for the safety of children online. It is, in my opinion, clear that Kevin has no intention
So many in my opinions, like, yeah.
of working to make this server a safe and secure place to have real and productive conversations regarding educational matters, despite him being made aware of these issues for months now. So, if that is the case, it would be best to delete the server in its entirety, since it appears to take such a backseat when what he's attempting to do requires an unfathomable amount of security and moderation. I want to clarify that this is not intended as an aimless attack. Rather, I want to present genuine criticism. I do not condone harassment, nor do I condone joining Kevin's server and harassing users or Kevin himself. I solely intend to bring awareness to an issue that I haven't seen many people talking about in the online space. With that said though, let's move on.
Smelling my friend's farts is also something that I love to do.
Okay, we'll move on. This sounds like something we should have talked about in the beginning.
Like, you'll never catch me going like, oh my god, you just farted, like, go away. Like, I will go to the location of the fart and literally go like, because I think it's so fun and fresh.
Currently,
Okay.
Kevin can be found actively posting to both his TikTok and channel his content per usual. As for his Discord, the server is still currently up and running to this day, and despite the 18+ not safe for work channel being removed, there are still inappropriate interactions that can be found taking place within, as well as many others that either couldn't be shared or would take far too long to dissect. I will also be leaving links to Minty, Gothic, and Lux's threads down below so you can read where a lot of this information was originally compiled that also features some discussions that can't be disclosed within this video. As for Kevin, do not go and seek him out or harass either him or his followers. There is nothing productive in doing so. Erring on the side,
it'll make me feel better. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. That's not good.
Of redundancy, I have stated that this video is not intended as a baseless witch hunt or a cancellation party.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of other creators would have went harder on the guy and made it seem like he was a predator just because of what's going on here. So this guy seemed pretty reasonable, I would say, in this video. For sure, I agree with that.
Would like from this is productive conversations down below, and to raise awareness of a corner of the internet that is going unchecked, and the safety that's at risk to minors and part of that negligence. I feel I've already clarified my stances regarding this matter, as well as my thoughts surrounding Kevin, so I see no point in reiterating those sentiments. If I had to say anything though, off script, off the top of my head, it would just be the fact that it's extremely disappointing because Kevin has generally had very bad things happen to him, and I'm not saying he's a predator or anything like that, but he's incredibly insensitive to other people who are victims of CSA, and he uses shock.
Maybe, I mean, for in his brain, he might be like, well, I'm a victim of this, so like I don't really care. Oh, I didn't even use max rank the whole time. Actually, now that I say that, I should probably put them both in the bar. In his brain, he might be like, well, like, you know, I'm a victim of it, so like I don't have to be sensitive to these other people because like I'm the one that has like a trauma. You know what I mean? Which whatever. I don't care if that's how he feels. You know what I mean? I don't care about the I don't have an issue with the content. I have an issue with the Discord. Like, personally, if you have an issue with the content, that's fine. I'm not saying that you're a bad person for having an issue with the content. I'm just saying that I have an issue with the Discord more than anything else. The content, I don't really give a shit about that. So
shock value and inappropriate humor that just, quite frankly, shouldn't be justified online. And he has such an opportunity to just not enact and not engage in that type of behavior and just solely be a good voice for the LGBTQ+ community. And instead, he chooses to be reckless.
I think that, like, generally speaking, okay, so I don't think that he's a bad voice for the LGBTQ community, and I don't think that just because he's gay, that means that like he has to act perfectly for the sake of the LGBTQ community, if that makes sense. I don't think, you know what I mean? Like, he and his every waking moment of his life doesn't need to be that he's gay. Like, you're gay, so you have to act better. Like, I don't think that that's true. I don't think you have to act perfectly just because you're gay. Like, you know what I mean? It seems like he's just a guy that happens to be gay. I don't think that it really... Yeah, I don't know if you guys are understanding what I'm saying, but I don't think that he has to act perfectly just because he's gay. That's kind of like a lot to put onto him. Like, he's fine. I don't think that like what he's doing isn't a bad representation of LGBTQ community. It's a bad representation of like his irresponsibility. That's not right, but I wouldn't, like, you know, that's like an additional criticism for no reason. Well, you're gay, you have to act better. That's kind of how it comes off, even if it's not what was intended. So,
and negligent. It's just disappointing. If I really had to summarize it up, it's incredibly disappointing and extremely irresponsible for Kevin to behave this way. Despite the potential backlash of this video, I hope at least something useful can come of this information. Maybe
I don't see why this video would get that much backlash.
Maybe nothing will come of it, but you know, at least it's out there now. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. That was a lot of heavy stuff, so let's kind of break.
Not really. The Discord was concerning, but it wasn't really that heavy, to be honest with you. That was pretty light stuff. That was like fucking, that was silly.
Up the outro a little.
It wasn't quite brain rot, but it was not exactly like super like heavy shit. You know what I mean?
But this guy here, can we green screen
Whoa, a monkey.
him? Oh my god, look at that. If you're still watching up to this point, I want to first say go outside, Jesus Christ, and take a few moments to say thank you. It really does mean the world to me that you'd watch all the way through. I understand that this video was quite long, so you're a real trooper. If you liked today's video, feel free to drop a like and subscribe down below with a bell notification on so you never miss out on any
I'll give it the like.
future
guys.
uploads. Also, feel free to leave a comment down below telling me what you did or didn't like about the video, so I can work on making this a better viewing experience for you in the future. Also, if you'd like to catch up and follow me after the video, feel free to look at the social links that are on my face. It's gonna be a little hard to miss.
Where's your Discord so we can talk about sex?
Sorry. I'm just being stupid.
Them as they're just sitting right there.
Okay.
It's a really easy way to catch up on my personal life, future uploads, and more. If you'd also like a way to support myself on this channel, consider checking out my Patreon down below. It's always appreciated, but never expected. There will be a brief segment where I read the names of those kind individuals. Without further ado, once more, my name's Wonder, and it was phenomenal to have you here today. I'm looking forward to seeing you around in the next one. Truthfully, with this video taking so long, I've really missed you guys. So until then, stay safe, do something nice for yourself, and farewell.
All right. Well, incredible stuff. Pretty good video.